watching throughout winter and throughout obviously the EPL conference that we covered previously. So look, I think Fnatic, it's hard to argue with their results lately. They've been winning a lot of the tournaments that ENCE have even been participating in. So I think form would tell you that they are the stronger team. But definitely don't count out ENCE. You can't sleep on a team like ENCE, even in rough circumstances where they're kind of getting snappy in, not from the start of the tournament, just into this do or die best of three. It's probably not how you'd want your tournament life to be going so far, but they've got a best of three ahead of them against a very beatable opponent. So I hope ENCE could really bring it today.
I guess just to add some extra kindle to the matchup itself, like if ENCE lose, right, like they are eliminated from qualifying directly for IEM Katowice based on those EPT points. So that for me is extra incentive for ENCE to really get themselves over the line. They brought Snappy back into the lineup. They're going to need him here in this matchup. But Fnatic, on the other hand, they've just had that great run of form. I would argue that yesterday was probably their first real great test against quality opposition on LAN. And for this roster, they didn't quite stand up to the level that maybe those online expectations were, maybe that recency bias, having looked at their most recent results coming through, thinking they're a better team than they actually are, might be at hand. But, I guess the positive light to be taken from them is that they were showing good signs of gameplay. It's not as though they're not a team of onliners. These guys can stand up and perform, and it's tough to ask a team like Fnatic to do so in that best of one arena. This is best of three. They're coming onto a map that is, it's statistically a stronghold for them, that overpass. I think they're in good stead here.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, it went to all 30 in that previous series that they played about a month ago. I think it is worth mentioning as well. Look, Fnatic, they are coming onto LAN here after a big streak online. But, we've got some experienced players here that are no strangers to this kind of environment. I don't expect that it's going to have too much of an effect on them. And I think they're going to be realistic with their expectations that you go in against Gambit in the opening game of a tournament, you're probably not expected to take that one out. But against an ENCE team that you have been outperforming on some of the recent tournaments online, you're probably feeling a little bit more confident, and you know that they're in a bit more of a rough set of circumstances. But like I said, this will be a great match because both teams, they have solid structure, they play proper CS, they have some good IGLs behind them. So I'm hoping that we're going to get 3 maps here, and I'm hoping that we're going to get some quality CS in every stage of the game, both in the tactics, but also the individuals on both of these squads are very capable.
Now this is an elimination match here at IEM Winter. We have the lower bracket between Fnatic and ENCE. One of these teams will be going home. There's fuel in the fire here for ENCE. They need to win this to qualify and keep that spot at IEM Katowice. Fnatic, it just seems like it was meant to be that they would be the team that potentially knocked them out of qualification for that as we head on to Overpass, the first map in this series.
Yeah, gonna have Fnatic starting out on that T side, getting themselves rolling nice and early. A whole bunch of utility, just the 2 sets there as they bide their time. Get ready for that B execute. D-Hard ready to receive here, Jim.
Just playing that swing position. Oh, everybody flashed out off the line. D-Hard automatically called in. Doto, though, is good for 2, and that bomb is just going to get into the bomb site. However, they need to clear out Spinks. He's emptied his clip to no avail. And they're almost instantaneously here for the retake attempt. However, they are met with a wall of fire from Fnatic. And that is a good first round. It's a fast first round. And Fnatic looking to set the pace early.
Yeah, I think Fnatic getting exactly what they wanted there out of that pistol round. I think the opening entry really kind of set the tone for how the rest of the round played out once they cleared out that player on Pillar. Without too easy of a trade for his teammate playing from Barrel. It was a little bit easier for Fnatic to maneuver their way into the site and take the fights the way they wanted to, whereas ENCE, they're kind of in that reactive mode, right? They're coming in, they're trying to get those rotates in position, but if the Ts have already taken so much space, a little bit easier, or a little bit harder for the CTs in that regard. That's a massive opener from Dodo. And you cannot go past the talent on ENCE in a force buy round like this. The Deagle round could be very dangerous for Fnatic, and now they got to try to navigate through it with a man disadvantage.
They just sent Mezzy through short water, just turbo style. He's completely locked out. Shut the front gate. Look at this push through underpass. That could be real struggles for Fnatic if they don't up the pace a little bit. I think Spinks might come into contact with them. However, well, it's just a matter of timing.
Yeah, just as this A execute comes in, whole bunch of utility dump into the site. Diha trying to play from the site box, but he's just buying more and more time for this flank to come out. It gets dealt with pretty quickly though, Jim. And with the smokes on towards bank and jump up, there's more space for Fnatic to establish themselves in this post plant.
Hades just waiting his time out behind that smoke. Snappy's got work to do on the flank. Crims, though, has just eliminated one pincer of that retake. So the job gets even harder here for ENCE as well. Doto doing good more work with the pistol. That was good England. As now, Smuya just stabilizes the round for Fnatic. So only 12 HP. A lot of work to be done. Couldn't quite find that raw adjustment. And Fnatic, they win that round by the skin of the teeth.
Yeah, they scrape through it. Even Smuya, last player standing for Fnatic, very, very low at the end of that one. They drop a whole bunch of guns. Economic damage, well and truly inflicted by an ENCE squad who may even want to double down here and invest in some more upgraded pistols. Just try to keep the pressure on. That's a great opener from Dodo. That's a big impact round towards the end of that game against VP to really keep ENCE in the running and push things into OT. And you do see a double down to some extent. Some upgraded pistols, a few grenades lightly invested in, just a sprinkling from ENCE, who are very much looking to just take 2 or 3 more guns off Fnatic in this round, keep their economy nice and fragile before they head into their first gun round there.
It's a slow and steady approach now from Fnatic as well. ENCE, they do have numbers towards mid connector. Alex, though, is going to just explore the options as the rest of Fnatic are going to rally back towards B. So just a slow, methodical approach. That smoke is going to guide Crims through the door. Spinks, though, on the edge of the smoke. Does catch him, nap him, and they do take that AK out of his hands. So this could be dangerous for Fnatic. That smoke is actually going to lock Doto out of proceedings.
Yeah, smoke to minimize the risk, but Fnatic, they still can't get comfortable enough. They're opting to just rely on the aim duels, take these long-range fights with the AKs, and for the most part it's working out. They know they don't need to force the issue. They're not in a rush. Relying on the firepower edge they do have, but Smuya outdueled by Hades. Some funky movement, just shouldering that line over and over again, making himself so difficult to hit. And Hades is actually just ringing the bell of so many of these T-side players. Again, Fnatic, I mean, these are the opening rounds of the game that you want to go smoothly, but when you're scraping through them with one player surviving against the force buy, when you're going down to, look, still 3 players surviving, but very, very injured, it's a little unsettling, you know. Feels like you're playing against a sharper team when they're just connecting so many of these USP shots.
It doesn't do wonders for the confidence, that's for sure. But you're right, Alex and Roland just get themselves through this round by, again, just a few Harry Potters. And it's now back to a gun round here for ENCE. The first of this series. Hades on that AWP, looking to make immediate impact. Big investment from him.
Yeah. Dodo takes that AK out of the round as well. He's now got that one-shot potential, but also he's the bank of ENCE right now. He's a keen saver, so that could be a hero rifle or an AWP later on that ENCE don't have to save so hard for. Opening gun round here. Does seem like the focus is over towards party side. Just the one flash from Hades, and Spinks cleans everybody up. It's a simple play, but $200 can be enough to dismantle a gun round.
Chef's kiss. That was superb from Spinks.
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to do so much impact. I didn't expect for that to probably be the round. But look, let's be real. Fnatic, Brolin and Mezzy on these rifles could definitely dig them out of a pickle.
Don't know if the camera caught that, the player cam. Just that little smirk from Spinks as he sat back in the corner position now. He's playing an off angle. Really has the potential to catch Fnatic out, but I think Mezzy's wiser to it. Are they going to check that corner? Oh, it's good for the trade. So Spinks gets 4 in this round and now sets up ENCE for their first gun round. Unless Mezzy can make the day difficult, he will at least get that bomb plant.
This clutch could be huge for Fnatic. He's going to get dunked with a nade though. This is reset potential for ENCE, but Mezzy, it's great crosshair placement to take out Diha. I don't know if he's going to anticipate the double flank though. I think Dodo and Snappy probably should just clean this one up. He's caught a whiff of them, but Snappy Going to catch him in the side of the head, and plenty of time for the defuse, and ENCE, all the work put in from the force buy round, as well as the damage done in the eco, culminates beautifully for them in a reset of the T-side economy, and could still put something together here, but it's not going to be what they would have dreamed of in that second gun round.
Doto really is the bank of ENCE. He even picks an all-pup post-play, but this is that pixel-perfect play with the Flash and Spinks. Hades combines nicely. It's just so simple in its execution. And Spinks makes that look incredibly easy. What a round, taking 4 in the end, and Fnatic did well to recover, at least taking 3 guns out of the economy from that point, but it was just that initial play that really did set ENCE up for success. Attack timeout now, as you said, to just discuss what they are going to do here, just to settle some nerves after a very shaky round too. Let's see what comes off the back of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Brolin on the 7 grand. That could be the man that is able to put a buy together here for Fnatic if he's feeling generous. Throw an AK over to some of the boys. There is a lot of options here for Fnatic. A lot of passages to play in terms of the economy. They're going to take a moment to study the notes. Do a bit of homework.
That's a lot of paperwork. Time to check the notes, check the memo. Question is, what will happen off the back of this pause? Are we going to see any disruptive players, particularly on that CT side? I know, particularly when nobody expects it, ENCE might be able to pull something out.
Yeah, I don't think that the pressure is really on them to change too much. That opening round has gone fantastically for them. Their economy's in a pretty good position. It's really on Fnatic to decide how to proceed from here. As got a bit of a round reset. It's trying to get everything rejigged and ready to go.
Not too far away. There we see the unpause. So Fnatic now, they want to try and put what they can together. They've gone down to the bottom of the barrel. They've scraped out with those Galils. They have mustered 2 AKs at the very least. So utility is going to be there to support. Fnatic are a threat in this round. And for ENCE, they also have to stabilize their own economy. Early territory being taken by Fnatic. They're not messing around. They've got control of short water already. D-Hart not going to spot anybody out, but contact B is on the cards.
Oh, Dodo almost gets caught. Slapping the clip back in there. Flash comes in and catches him fully white in the face, and Fnatic have just hit the sharpest timing in on ENCE right now. But Snappy is able to go huge. Just pulls 3 out of absolutely nowhere. Brolin's got heaven covered though, and it's all on Hades. I'm not down yet. Well aware that the T's were in water. Oh, the boost into heaven is so cheeky here, Jim.
Oh, but he might catch the timing. He does. So Hades knows the position. Smooya in that 1 versus 1. Smooya's just taking his time too, so he's not too sure where Hades has managed to wriggle away to. And the repositioning from Hades might catch the timing on Smooya. He will. And that is a well-played round. ENCE taking that one. Fnatic, after fantastic initial reads, just collapses on that B-bomb site. Snappy pulling 3 out of the hat. And that is a round toward ENCE.
We're playing a completely different game of Overpass. Last time, like I said, these two teams went head-to-head on this map. It was 16-14, but it was all T-side from both squads. The opening half was Fnatic starting out on T and going 12-3, and then ENCE replied with an 11-4, and it ends up going 16-14. But what I'm seeing right now, Jim, is ENCE on this CT side winning a big round and potentially able to build up some economy, especially if these MP9s start doing some massive damage. $1,000 into the bank accounts. There is some trade potential there. But Spinks knows he's got them pinned into a corner. Too many bullets connected with the legs.
In the meantime, Mezzy may have found some timing on to be Doto. He's tasked with watching that bomb site. He's just going to back off. Doesn't want to give anything away. That's a level of disrespect coming out from ENCE with those MP9s. It does backfire slightly.
Oh, look at Mezzi. The player that is known for his game sense. And he's just found the perfect hole in the defense here. The freebie for him. No trigger discipline needed. Able to take out that B site player who was playing retake. He smokes out towards the stairs side, trying to keep the rotations at bay. But Fnatic, they're going towards the A side of the map. This is all a big ruse. Interesting smoke thrown by Samuya there.
Gets the job done. Just as Mezzi on this B bomb site. He is a real thorn in the side. Okay. Things get messy.
He just does it all himself. Beautiful. $700 invested for Fnatic. But it's all that's needed. And look, I was saying ENCE was setting up for something special there. The two MP9s actually punished for the over-aggression. 1-for-1 trades across the board from Fnatic. And, you know, you would think in normal circumstances, throwing away those MP9s, it's not ideal, but it's not going to be the end of the world. Surely the rest of the team just gets it done with the rifles. But Mezzi, after those initial duels come out, knows that there's holes in the defense to be exploited, and he has just done an absolute beautiful job there.
Superb work from him. The Soldier of Fortune. Capitalizing on real hole in the defense of ENCE now. This boost is going to be spotted out. Does spot the feet though, Fnatic. Snapping. Just clipping the toenails of Crimson Smooth. And Fnatic though, consistent on that boost in connector. Very deep set T side. You can see the adjustment from ENCE though. They want to stack numbers towards this A bomb site. Draw Fnatic into that firefight.
Just creeping into the bathrooms. All the CTs are here though. Seems like the stacks and the ecos are finding a lot of fortune so far, but turns out going against ENCE, it's just a firing squad. Fnatic clean them all up, only losing one gun. And they will actually be the ones to stabilize their economy. Take a big ruse on this T side to move forward. Now it's up to ENCE to reply. It's reinvesting once again. No AWP for Hades though.
Interested to see how aggressive they opt to play this. We know aggression has actually worked for them. And now going to go quite aggressive here towards the party. I don't know if they've been spotted out, but that boost here, oh, Brolin does take some damage, and the airstrike towards B doesn't find its target for Fnatic.
Yeah, just gives away some info to ENCE. They know that there was those three players over towards the B side of the map, but Fnatic, after the dumping of the nades, are going to restructure the attack now, starting to work towards this A side of the map. They know the money's probably not so fantastic, so they're not as worried about some of these AWP lines, and that's why you can see these AKs moving on like this. Able to just work in pairs. Samuya holding down the long lines of sight while the riflers get more space.
Just one big party train for Fnatic towards this A bomb site. You're right, the double hold at A long can zone them out with some good utility, but Deha is playing that Optimus position. Oh, the Famous goes for two. Can he find that third? He's just buying some time. Perfect flash support from Doto. Oh, Deha combines with Hades again, as now Mezzi is left to try and clean things up. Does find one, but that might be the only compensation he gets in this round. Still plenty of time to work with, but that clock is ticking and working against him. ENCE got coverage of the bomb. So Mezzi now has to hope that he can bait ENCE to making some mistakes as they do step. However, no point-blank champion here. Way too much happening in a fast space of time for ENCE, and they pull themselves around back. They keep three alive, and they start to get themselves out of this hole they were in earlier. That's great work from Deha. He's been quiet, but he awakens at the best possible moment for ENCE.
Yeah, the flash from Fnatic is actually a bit of a tell that Deha is able to know that the T's are starting to come into the site. You know, usually something that you'd set aside to push those AWP players off the line or players playing around dice. But that wasn't a factor that Fnatic had to be worried about. And in fact, kind of helped D-Hard prepare himself for that contact hit that was coming in through bathrooms. Late boost up over the top of short B. As Fnatic getting ready for this B-side execute, but there's already 4 players here from ENCE.
Oh, Crims just eliminated here, but Doto, how many times have we seen him add Toxic? He's making it work. He is traded out 1-for-1. And they are making this difficult. ENCE, this bomb site defense is stalwart. And Snappy digs in for 2. They've just been denied entry. Fnatic, they try and make that contact play work. They've pressed the button quite early. I do like the decisiveness from Fnatic, but it is just not working against this ENCE B-site bomb.
I mean, they just got scissors, paper, rock, effectively. You had ENCE heavily stacking towards that B side of the map early on, and that's exactly where Fnatic went. So they've now been economically reset. I mean, the pendulum of the economy just keeps swinging back and forth. Both teams just streaking away with a couple of rounds. Neither team really building up much loss bonus.
Spuya just tanking the last 3 ticks of that Molotov. Floor is lava.
Literally, yeah, it's on fire, mate.
That's why you just try and keep on the furniture. You don't want to tank too much damage like that. Spinks, careful not to get caught out here. He's going to use that smoke to just play the line. Shadow advantage quite nicely, working in his favour.
Mezzi's been pretty outstanding in the opening parts of this map. I think it's really him and Spinks that have been the 2 standouts for me. Alex, though, wants to throw his name into the hat. Picks himself up an A1S. There's more economic damage on the cards, but Hades on that long line is going to make his life a little bit harder. And ENCE, 4 players up. That's going to be good for their CT economy. They can potentially buy forward for at least 2 more gun rounds and keep things competitive, but they haven't safeguarded the rest of the half just yet, and in come Fnatic with another buy.
What can they fashion here? I'm not liking the depth of utility. It is workable, but they really have had to skimp on the damage grenades, opting for Molotovs instead. So, do not have full ensemble, but it's certainly workable. So now head again towards his fast play ground control. Those Molotovs from ENCE are just slowing all progression quickly out of that choke point. It's working in their favour. It's allowing ENCE to play more tightly knit, particularly around the top of connector and toilets.
Yeah, different setup from ENCE this time around. Do have a pretty big stack towards the middle of the map right now. Just waiting for that contact to come through towards bathroom side, but Fnatic working the long A area of the map. D-Hart has got eyes on it. Doesn't pull a rotation off B or anything like that, but the pressure created by this one player is going to start to unsettle the rotations here. Smoke in towards connector as the B side contact comes out, but Snappy has not moved an inch. He gets 1-for-1. Now pressure on Doto, who starts to make his way back towards short.
It's all going to explode here on this B bomb site. Cover of smoke is good for Hades. He's just playing that defensive angle. Spinks on the flank, and that is going to make everything difficult now for Fnatic. They've been locked out once again. Crims is in no man's land, and he's a long way from the action. 36 seconds left. And he's going to be cleaned up by Hades. That is a fantastic round from ENCE. They have been strong with their reply.
They're all over it. Another broken money situation for Fnatic. Looking for some damage. Probably putting in some kind of a half buy here. Been interesting to watch how Fnatic have been playing. Definitely been working as a unit quite regularly. The lurk often used to create pressure for the main push to come in rather than the other way around. Very quick one towards B. Straight into the Molotov though. Does get extinguished. We do have a firefighter in the building, and that's going to save a few lives. Who will go on to do some real damage. Muyo really putting the Tech 9 to good use. He's even going to follow up another dink onto D-Har, but it feels like ENCE have got it under control. See what Crims has to say about it though.
Certainly one of the most valued players in that sort of scenario, but Fnatic seems like they were out of ideas there, just going for that fast B hit. They do take a tactical timeout. Maybe to better discuss what is going to happen in this round, they were shut out completely from B bomb site. I mean, Doto felt like he just closed his eyes and just dug in for a monstrous spray.
Interestingly enough, this game, we've got the same two top performers than the previous game of Overpass, which were Mezzy and Spinks. In that map, though, Fnatic, it seemed like they had just a bit more well-rounded firepower. I think they had like a trio of Smooya, Brolin, and Mezzy, whereas ENCE were a little bit quiet in terms of the fragging department on this map the last time these two teams played. So we're seeing a completely different story on this CT side from ENCE. It's a very well-rounded performance from all the boys across the board.
Yeah.
No chinks in the armor right now.
There's been some tightened belts as well from ENCE. Certainly to note that Dihar was 0-7. He's now 7-9, which is a marked improvement from his previous performance. Hades is going to re-aggress. Not a good idea against Brolin, who had that line covered. And again, this forward positioning here from ENCE's. Spinks takes the aggro. Dihar is covering at the tree. However, Smooya plays peekaboo with that AWP. He's good for the trade, so they're going to hit this A bomb site quite quickly. That is a great flash from Dihar to get himself back into position, but Smooya's covering the line. So Fnatic, they haven't quite gotten to the bomb sites yet, but they are putting some pressure on ENCE. And they now have the run of play. They've got a minute left. They can pump the brakes a little and just try and split that CT defense even further.
Yeah. This is where you rely on the fundamentals. Fnatic just going to cut sound and give ENCE enough rope to hang themselves with. But at the moment, Snappy not biting. Playing that little cracked line in Optimus, waiting for a crosser who might be able to see him, that he can potentially punish as the utility starts to rain in. Still no movement from Dodo. Snappy going to fall back into the smoke to avoid the flames of the Molotov and try to find a nice timing.
Okay. Well, that activates Snappy, but Grims is all over that. Doto, well, he's way too far away from the action to be part of the play. So it's very important that he retains his weapon, because the economy of ENCE is super healthy right now. That'll just ensure they're able to buy into future rounds beyond the next.
Need a future-proof the rest of the rounds. We're only into, what, the 14th next? You get a big investment, buy some AWPs. Don't want to bankrupt yourself on the 15th for ENCE.
Let's see what this round throws up for ENCE. They're going to go, yep, Hades back on that AWP. No double AWP set up in play, though. They're just going to run their default. Fnatic find themselves an important 6th round because it felt as though traffic was just all one way. Those one-way streets. Smooya. Nice round from him. One for the confidence boost. Certainly a player that does play on the back of confidence.
Yeah. And you see it in that round. He's going and taking the peaks towards long. Reading the passage of play. Just denying re-entrance back towards that A site. Slow round for Fnatic, though. They do put out that short molly. Try to make it look like they're taking some short control, but that's read very well by ENCE. Snappy's deep in towards short B here, sees absolutely no T's, so this attempted information denial has been denied, I guess, by ENCE, as Fnatic are done by there. Spam straight through from Dihar.
Oh, time for Smooya to take a nap. And they do have mid-connector control. Funny enough, though, Snappy trying to catch timing.
Full spam through.
They are just being peppered.
Yeah, such is the nature of the A1S. ENCE in the 4-on-4. They fall into a bit more of a retake setup. They know they've still got a lot of control and information in bathrooms. So they're going to allow the T's to come into B and see if they can give themselves a man advantage and see where they want to go to from there.
Alex He's going to prevent that rotation coming through from ENCE. That boost here for Dota has to be broken. Just unsure of all the other angles he has to cover. These HEs are just delaying ENCE from entering into this bomb site. Hades is going to appear from heaven, however. Roland and Mezzi are making things difficult. That's a nice flick. No reaction there from Hades. Just couldn't get that AWP shot off in time. And we are into the last round of the first half. ENCE, they've done a good job to get themselves back into a decent position. However, Fnatic are starting to wrestle away some momentum now.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. You don't want to get your money broken into round number 15, but unfortunately, worst fears realized here for ENCE. Down to an MP9 and a Deagle. Fabus on Hades. Utilities limited. No kits on any of the boys. So, a potentially easier round to get through for Fnatic. They've got a firepower edge and a utility edge, but ENCE have got tricks up their sleeve, and that might be the difference maker. Sphinx finds the opener. The other two CTs going to get away, mostly scot-free, bar a little bit of chip damage. So Fnatic back to the drawing board in this 4-on-5.
Yeah, the Molotov, the burning bush, not enough to take any real damage away from ENCE. But Fnatic just pumping the brakes themselves, not overcommitting here. The bomb is just rotating back through spawn, not wanting to risk being lost in transition between the sites, but ENCE have tripled down on B. This is not going to be an easy entry by any mark, but a pop flash might be the trick. There is none available. Alex is just going to brawl his way in. Snappy is going to regress on the back of his MP9. He's baited Mezzi into that firefight. And 2 versus 4 scenario. Certainly doable for Fnatic. Haven't given away the bomb.
Though. Can potentially regress somewhere. Dihar gets caught in the open, trying to cross Monster, find himself a rifle. Deagle was not doing it for him, off angle from Snappy. He's really been the difference maker for ENCE in this round, and it's all on Broland. Got to recover that bomb. 25 seconds to work with. Snappy gonna hide away in water. Oh, actually pushes into short B. So that might just be a round-winning position.
Yeah, Molotov not going to draw anybody out. Snappy again is just going to completely reposition this. They're going to play to the post plant. Roland, he's using up what little time he has left in this round, and he's going to try and take these 5 fights. It's completely non-consequential. ENCE win the round, and they wrestle back that slight lead they have here at the half. This first match is certainly a banger. We'll be back with the second half after the break.
I think our performance in IM4 was like maybe not where it should be, but like I think we have the potential to go into those deep runs right now. And like all the other tournaments, I think we can get to playoffs. But recently we didn't meet those expectations, so we need to like step up our game, especially like myself, because I feel like I'm in a slump recently. So yeah, I think if we play our game, then we can go into deep runs in all the big tournaments.
elimination match. ENCE taking on Fnatic here in the lower bracket. And Pilski, we've seen a very narrow lead acquired in the first half. 8-7 the scoreline for ENCE. And they now head on to that T side to try and bring this home. This is, of course, the home of Fnatic, though. That map pick coming through. And it's no frills B.
Yeah, straight in there. Similar to the opening pistol round as well from Fnatic. Counter flash going very deep, trying to keep Crim safe. Rollins all the way deep in short B. He's able to fire 2 for himself, so putting in a lot of work for Fnatic, and he knows now they've got that man advantage. Swing through comes through from Alex on ABC, able to deal with that bomb planter, and it's all kind of falling apart from ENCE right now. Just not quite able to find the clean entries like Fnatic did in their opening pistol, and too many angles for Snappy to deal with right now. Just going to get swung on. So Fnatic, that's 2 from 2 on the pistols, and they start off the CT side beautifully.
Absolutely superb from Fnatic. They maintain control of short throughout the entire round. That's key, because without control of short, ENCE have no security, no safety in getting that bomb plant down. So super important that Fnatic just maintain control, and you could see the reward. They even had the push through connector to just ensure that they could continue to keep control at pivotal point on B, but we're just seeing the investment coming through now from ENCE. Molotov just to tank here. Oh no, the floor is lava for Hades. He's tanked a heap of damage before he's even going to take his first duel. And okay, Roland, you need to think about that twice.
Both of them would be blown over by a light breeze. There's he though. Playing those angles in connector. MP9 being put to great use, even though he's going up against the armored pistols. He seems quite unbothered. And that's because Alex was so close, ready to back him up very quickly there. Flashes over the top of Con are beautiful from Fnatic, and they have just got control of this round right from A to Z. A very quick cleanup of the force buy from ENCE, which did absolutely no damage. And this is the dream start to the CT side from Fnatic. A completely different game of Overpass than what we saw a month ago. I was talking about it. We had some dominant streaks on the T side, but ENCE have done some good work on that CT side, and now I'm seeing Fnatic putting together a good opening rounds and a good stable economy to go forth into their own CT side, and I dare say things could be very different.
They really do have that springboard into this match now. Again, ENCE just upping the pace into short water. Smooya though is looking to feed that bank. He's only good for 2. However, spins the herd. The Scrims now will happily take that duel. Fnatic seemingly now caught without too much territory. Going to try and regroup, play the strength in numbers game, but it's not going to be super effective with just a block on D-Hart. Spinks needs to dig in and do that work with the Deagle. But look at Fnatic. They're hungry for this.
It's just ridiculous. He just doesn't stop jumping. The jump and the counter strafe on the MP9, you know, it's just something to behold, isn't it? You know, most people be looking at that and thinking it's a case of luck, but really it couldn't be further from the truth. Just look at the counter strafe in midair.
Yeah, just
on both angles, you get the A counter strafe, then the D counter strafe, just to increase that accuracy and give the potential for that MP9 to hit shots like that. And at that range, it's not actually that far-fetched, Jim.
Okay, triple quad boost. Oh, it's been booked by Smooya.
He's read that.
You can't get past him.
Look at him in the player cam. He's quite happy with that.
He expected it. And Hades quite literally gets sent to the Shadow Realm.
Doesn't get to have much of a say in this round, in the opening gun round, where, you know, he's thinking, great, got my AWP now. Going to be putting that to work in against the bonus. Bully some SMGs on the long range angles. Not to be.
I mean, you got Mezzy playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater with his MP9. Not going to be effective in this round, though. D-Hut for 1. Oh, the grenade. He was expecting the second. However, that crossfire remains unbroken. Snappy has work to do and has given away his position now in his 3 versus 1.
Well, bomb stuck in party. And I have to say, Snappy does not look like he's having a good time. Gonna try to find one of these players slipping in the bathrooms, but won't be given the opportunity. And Fnatic Quite happy to just chill out. It's a bit of a low-key event. It's waiting for their honoured guest to arrive.
There's plenty of time to work with. Alex at the fountain. Does
Double
eventually
ball?
finish his food.
No, not interested.
All right.
Even hits the B hop. Even hits the B hop on in there. That's how you know he's feeling it. Just domes
ridiculous.
the other team's AWPer, drops some smokes and molotovs in there for the B-side anchors. And in for the half buy for ENCE.
Faster pace through mid connector. Hoping that the pain train will stop at Fnatic Station. And they're going to chance their hand again. Smooya just repelling them. Brolin plays on the other side of that smoke. Has to dodge a few bullets.
Oh, Nate got
What's in
lost
that
in the
bush?
heads there.
What is in that bush? Okay.
Bit of a labyrinth. Side exit. Attempted to be kicked off here by ENCE, but they're just kind of dead in the water, I guess. Swinging their legs in midair, not really going anywhere anytime fast. And Fnatic make quick work of that round. Their anti-ecos have been absolutely flawless in this half, and their economy's there to thank them for it. 10 plus K on Alex. Rest of the boys not doing too badly either, and that means that this game is going to be difficult for ENCE. On this T side, they have got to have a very good strike rate in a very short number of rounds, or this is probably going the way of the CTs.
No fast Molotovs through that choke point and playground for ENCE to dodge this time. However, Smooya, it's that solo agent towards party. And nobody's RSVP'd.
Yeah, he's just looking to see if he can punish one of the Ts that are going a little bit too fast on this default. But knowing that, you know, every 10 seconds you see the adjustment from Smooya. He's timing things out in his head. Okay, now it's possible for a T to be moving their way into bathrooms from long. Initially worried about the connector push. Now he's joined up with by Brolin. Little zoom on the line, but it's not good enough. D-Hart going to clean up 2 CTs on his way into the site and wants to make more space here. Drops the Molotov. And he's continuing to strafe onto the site with the bomb, but the spacing from the Ts is all over the place right now. D-Hart just going to try to stick the plant in the smoke, and he's gotten away with it, so that's beautiful from ENCE. It was a little disjointed, and there was a couple of situations where that could have fallen apart from them, but the fact that they find such clean entries, D-Hart's able to get that bomb plant in, makes that round look just easy as.
Now, Crims will be going for damage here to see what he can take out of ENCE's economy. Crosshair's training in his position, but they move away at the wrong moment, so there is a window of opportunity here to just bait more of ENCE into firefights. Doto, though, says no. And ENCE find themselves a 9th, and Fnatic, they've got quite a healthy economy. They'll be able to just dip into that, get what they need. Oh, Snappy. Unfortunate victim there. But what I did like from ENCE was that grouped approach.
Taking their time moving through the map. This time Molotov's being invested by Fnatic in towards this A side of the map. One of which gets extinguished very, very quickly as they start to take some ground in towards party. Sphinx working connector quite quickly. Taking a lot of control over there. But Fnatic again, just leaving that solo defender on the A site. It's just Brolin over towards long A. The rest of the boys playing towards that B site. They've really, these last couple of rounds, been anticipating a play towards B, but ENCE has not granted them that. They've just been working this slow-paced default. And as 50 seconds get burnt off the clock, ENCE have a bit of bathrooms control. They've got connector But the majority of them starting to move over towards this B site.
Good read from Fnatic as well. Grim's just going to flash check Monster. Nothing here just yet. He's going to be tossed to smoke to hop on over to short. Smooya is the eyes on the prize. Roland might be able to get a lot of info with this push. Just has to get the timing right. Smooya though, man on a mission. 30-second timer brought up. Layered utility towards B, and ENCE are just being shut out. They're being pulled apart before they can even get onto these bomb sites.
Yeah, Fnatic are all over this. Brolin on the aggression, straight down connector as well. The T's just trying to save their weapons. Haven't been able to get absolutely anything else out of this round, but Fnatic, with how strong their economy is, they are looking to chase. Alex on the hunt, punished for it. And he was the main man on the front foot for Fnatic. The rest of them going to be sensible, hold on to the weaponries. But they know, with 13 rounds on the board and still good money on this CT side, that the game is looking good for them. And T-side money started to get a little bit more on the shaky side. A couple of guns saved over means that this is likely a buy, with Spinks going down in terms of the weaponry or some of the utility perhaps.
Time for ENCE to talk it out though. What will they do here? We can already see Hades on that AWP. He really needs to start fashioning some openings, carving out these rounds for ENCE. It can go a long way if they just get given some of these openings. I mean, Fnatic are taking the risks. Fnatic are happy to take those duels, take those peeks into these choke points early on. So the chances are presenting themselves for ENCE. They just need to be taken.
Well, at least in that game in DreamHack Open November, ENCE were able to put together a really good string of T-side rounds. So they do have strats that work against Fnatic, at least a month ago. But today it's been a bit of a different story. Same trio of stars for Fnatic, doing a lot of work once again. Snappy trying to find that opening pick, creeping out the monster smoke. Opportunity was there, but instead he just cops a whole bunch of damage.
Alex, though, will attract the attention of ENCE as they fall all the way back away from B. Now, just curious as to whether or not Fnatic will actually make that information push through Monster. And ENCE, as they make those readjustments, and they do, they make that push through, so they're going to have a heap of info now. Likely that you'll see Fnatic either turtle up in the bomb site or play a more concentrated mid. Spinks. Alex.
Alex has just made the read. Only one flash here for ENCE in a relevant position. It's just Hades on this AWP to send the boys into this A site. Util's still there for Smooya, but it seems like Fnatic more interested in holding on to Bathrooms control. That's where Dodo's going to have to come into the equation and find a winning duel, but unfortunately he gets taken out as well, and this is just a complete cleanup from Fnatic. They're putting on a clinic right now.
Yeah. No hope for a cross here. Hades, he's going to do his best to thin the numbers. He's got 2. But with 8 seconds left, all Fnatic need to do is look at a wall. He's not going to have a chance in this round. He could not even collect the bomb there. So ENCE, that one goes begging for them. Great adjustment from Fnatic. That push through at B, gaining them so much information. They were able to make those adjustments. They held control of Bathrooms. And ENCE had a really tumultuous time trying to cross into the site because they didn't know. There was a conundrum at play. Are they going to be in bank? Are they going to be at stairs? And then, of course, no control in mid.
Yeah, there was a few tells. I mean, they did have those smokes in towards Bathroom and some utility invested over there for ENCE. But unfortunately, still didn't manage to wrangle themselves control of the Bathrooms this time. Got Dodo very close up short B. This is some great control as well as info for the T side. And ENCE going to give this boost a crack.
Oh!
That's a great raw adjustment for Grims. Reacts instantly. The Galil a little bit derpy trying to take a duel like that. Molotov barrels, and Snappy finds the opener in towards short. This puts pressure on the side players. There's so many of them, though, and with Diha getting that pick on the A side, ENCE don't need to commit in towards B, and they don't want to either when Brolin's there.
Yeah, they don't have control of this site now. Hades sort of trapped in the middle. He's Malcolm in the middle right now. However, Diha, he is on this around-the-world mission to make life difficult for Fnatic. He's managed to catch 2 now. So that bomb will have a pathway either into B or A. It seems as though B will be the objective, as that plant will come through for Heaven. He's playing off of Diha. Brolin had to make a read and is read incorrectly.
That's all Diha that round for ENCE. Finds Smooya, knifed out, running all the way onto that A site. And he's able to even get the multi-frag. You could see Fnatic, they were grouped up, trying to walk through their own spawn to trade him out. Safety in numbers, but still able to multi-frag with the Galil. That's quite impressive.
And it's just with that information that Fnatic really don't have numbers towards long. Diha, as soon as you recognise that, did not hesitate to get onto that A-bomb site. But I mean, that shot from Crims, right, to take down the boost, it's just like swatting a mosquito for him.
Yeah. He is the ultimate franchise player of Fnatic. Jeez. I don't think he hasn't joined another team at any point, right? I'm pretty sure he's just been on Fnatic for such a long time now. Let me double check that. I need to fact check myself.
LGB, I think, might have been the last team he played in.
Oh, yeah, just LGB, you know. How many days on current team? Oh, he went to Godsent. Okay. I guess that kind of counts.
Okay, that was the Exodus.
Yeah, I did fact check myself. Either way, though.
Glad you did. And ENCE are back on the gun round. They have Hades on that orb, so it is the reinvestment required from Fnatic after losing a round. I'm going to say that this is a really important round for ENCE. They really could put the economy of Fnatic on the back foot and get themselves back within striking distance. However, that opener here from Brolin is going to cause a reaction here. The fuels are going the way of ENCE, so they have dug in. They found 2. They now have a bit more map control than they did. And, well, Smooya, he's out in an island. He does have bathroom control, but look how quickly ENCE have upped the ante. They've gone fast towards long. Hades is trying to get a pick onto that A-bomb site, but ENCE now have just pumped the brakes.
Yeah.
They use that break in play to gain position.
And they're creeping out. With good spacing here. The shouldering from Sphinx, a little bit too difficult for Smooya to connect on. Hades locking down that A-side angle, and all of the pieces come together beautifully for ENCE. The perfect puzzle as they put that default plant down. Diha, these last couple of rounds, it's felt like he has had all the impact for ENCE. Putting all the important frags across the line. Because Brolin has kind of been doming with that org. People are talking about A4 this, A1 that, but I'm more scared of Brolin's org than anything else right now.
Absolutely. It's a scary prospect. He's been able to just take openers here and there with that org. And operating as largely a solo agent. He doesn't necessarily have the support of his teammates around him at all times now. Prince is going to take Doto with him. But he cannot take another duel. And, there's nobody around to eliminate him. So, Fnatic, they do retain 2 weapons, but as I said, they have some questions to ask. What are they going to do for the remaining 3 players in terms of their money? Are they going to try and get themselves a buy into this, or are they going to just buy pistols around? And no surprise to see the tactical timeout taken to discuss that matter.
Yeah. Need to have a bit of a chat. It's getting a little bit spicy. No doubt about it. But still space for Fnatic to close this game out. Just need to put in a few little adjustments, but it's scary that ENCE started to get rolling on this T side. I think we're seeing the classic game of Overpass where there's so many timings. Just the push and pull effect from both teams of individuals taking space in unguarded lanes of attack, whether it's the CTs aggressing in the mid-round, or whether it's the lurks on ENCE, like Diha just finding the gaps in the defense. Fnatic, they know there's still legs in this half. They're going to take the passive route as they are ahead and just take a little bit of a save here, but the main investment being Crims, who's doing all of the work right now. He gets boosted up into Connector. He's able to anticipate the following peak from the next tee. And Molly's out of position. He just goes forward. He's feeling confident. 25 bullets take out 3 Ts, and ENCE must now recover a bit of a nightmare scenario. And Alex just seems to find the perfect time to push B every single round.
He's threaded the needle and has found the timing, spotted the head. That's going to call for the readjustment coming out from Fnatic. Still have options to go down mid-connector, but it looks as though the duels towards A are going to be where they are best equipped. Now, Alex is even going to have the option to pick up a kit. He does check out connector. Mainly getting that information, just eliminating B as a possibility.
Oh, seeing the gun barrels. Alex just being teased, and he's going to be left wanting yet again. Hades escapes around the corner, but he's found Snappy on the cross. And with the 2 CTs in towards jump up, everyone on different angles. Hades can't quite deal with it. Fnatic, it wasn't a round that they expected to win. Got some clever plays and a 3K from Crims. Puts them in a winning position. They'll take that every day of the week. Now they've got an absolutely fantastic economy. They got 4 map points to play with. And ENCE, I did see 1 or 2 players down at that 3K mark.
That is so filthy. That is so filthy from Crims. But that's the kind of round-winning play that produce when you give one of your best players, let him retain that M4. All that experience coming through. As, well, ENCE have actually gone quite a bit quicker. These choke points. Smooya, how does he get away from that?
Dude, he's had a rough day at the office. I think that's karma coming back around. I feel like this man has kind of been caught out of position 3 or 4 times now as that solo A player. ENCE have just been harassing him. D-Heart seems like he's kryptonite right now. Flash over the top of Monster. But Alex well positioned to deal with that. Boost finds Crims again. He's probably sick of that. Seeing a couple of deja vu situations in this round. Trends continuing. We end up in a 4-on-4. The flash and double peek is beautiful. Fnatic on the precipice of taking overpass now.
Smokes. Not going to rain it. There's one just somewhere at the back for some reason. A B-bomb site. But Smooya is going to abandon heaven. Okay. Fnatic just backing off, letting them have control of the bomb site if they want to take it. And just using the cover of smokes to slowly aggress as Hades gets off that line. Roland finds the timing onto D-Heart. He's looking for more. And now they have control of short. However, Hades is not aware of the advanced positioning of Mezzi, and it's all to do here for Spinks. He was such an impact player for them. He's going to need to find his impact even more. He's just steadfast on that line, trying to find the lineup. He found Mezzi. A false positive maybe on the defuse as he goes again. Trying to find that spam desperately through the smoke, and that is the round and the map won by Fnatic. They take their map pick here in the first map of this knockout game, Group B of IEM Winter 2021. We'll be back after the break to take a look at how this match panned out. fare for Fnatic as they take that ENCE on their map pick. ENCE had a run of play in that first half, but just felt like they petered out as they got onto that T side. And Fnatic were able to sweep away the victory on their map pick of Overpass, and that sends us into map number 2 with a slight advantage, obviously, for Fnatic, but I think it's safe to say that Fnatic looked a lot better than we saw yesterday with their stand-in, their IGL, Snappy is back, they just seem to be sharper all around. However, Fnatic just making those round-winning plays, we saw some big entries, and I guess some match-winning plays from some veterans in Crim, so it really did have all the twists and turns that we expected.
Yeah, and I mean, this was quite a statement to open the first gun round from ENCE, Spinks off the back of that flash. It was a big 3K, and that's kind of where I thought we've got a game on our hands. Even Snappy, a nice little spray down there, but Mezzy early in there, he was, I think, for the most part, over the whole course of the game, was kind of the standout for Fnatic, but Brolin was putting in the numbers as well, and I think that's where you look at the Fnatic team and you think, no wonder they've had so much success lately. They've got good calling structure. You know, that when the player who's putting in the least work in most of the games for you, players like Crims or Alex, then you know that you're stacked like pancakes in terms of the talent, right? The trio of stars yet again, similar to that DreamHack Open November series, and at least the Overpass game as well. You saw the server for Fnatic being still untapped. It's disgusting. The server being led by a trio of Brolan as well as Smuya and Mezzy, and I think it's the same thing today, which just shows the consistency even a month later for Fnatic, relying on those same win conditions yet again. But a little bit different with how the game went. You know, it was a bit more of a T-sided affair. This time I feel like both teams probably performed just as well on the CT side. So a bit of a different game of Overpass, but we end up with the same result.
It was definitely a closely fought affair in that first half, but I don't know, there were some big picks in there, and I felt as though Fnatic are one of those teams that are buoyed by big shots. That breeds momentum, and they really do play off the back of that. I thought also, too, that maybe heading into IEM Winter, the honeymoon period with this roster may be starting to wear off, but there are really good signs of life here against a solid outfit like ENCE, who really, they're a team that, given their lineup, maybe should be doing just a little bit better. They probably would be, guess, better with a bit more prac, but don't necessarily have too much time to prepare heading into these sorts of competitions off the back of maybe a major run that they're not necessarily satisfied with at all.
Yeah, I think in ENCE it's a rough position to be in. Obviously, you didn't have your full lineup for the opening BO1 of the tournament. Now you do, but you've ended up going down on that first map. At least it's your only your opponent's map pick. And you do actually have the first 2 opening maps of the last time that these two teams played head-to-head. So there's some familiarity there, and that is able to, when you do have solid IGLs and solid calling structure and, good coaches on both of these squads, you do have that preparation factor in there. There is that familiarity. So we'll see what the adjustments are going to be, because Fnatic did take ENCE's pick of Nuke last time around, but no guarantees that ENCE won't be able to turn this series around. There's a lot of pressure on them, but I know they don't want to be going down this early on in the tournament.
Well, as I alluded to before, there were some big moments from individuals. Let's take a look at the Air Force Aim High head-to-head, as we have both Mezzy and Spinks. These two players, I mean, Mezzy, he was really getting amongst it, particularly with that MP9, but he was fast, he was loose, he was unpredictable. And Spinks really was the, and has been a real solid performer since joining this ENCE roster.
Yeah, he's been super, super consistent. He's very, very good at closing rounds. And it feels like every series you watch Spinks play, you get a couple of rounds with the A1S where he just wins it single-handedly. He gets a multi-frag with 1 clip or less. So, it's good to see him putting in the good performance yet again. I feel like Mezzy, the differentiating factor really was that I feel like he had a bit more help. For ENCE, it was mostly Diha who was having a couple of impact rounds towards the tail end of that game on the T side and dragging ENCE into a bit more of a competitive half in that regard. But I think they're going to need a little bit more consistency in terms of the fragging across the board, because Fnatic have got that fragging power in spades, it seems.
They're definitely going to need to perform as well as we head into the next map. I mean, it's a map that really does speak to their strengths. We're going to be heading to Nuke as ENCE's pick. And I think, again, these two players, right, like their style of gameplay is what is potentially going to be the X factor for both ENCE or Fnatic as we head on to Nuke. Now, a lot of what we've seen from teams lately on Nuke is that push and pull effect. That's what they're going for. These guys, they do create a lot of space for their teams. And so when they're given the proper tools to do so, it can be a real asset. And you feel as though the team, they'll either live and die on the back of these plays made by the individuals.
Yeah, for sure. I think ENCE, look, this is a safe bet for them. This is a map they've got quite a few reps on, indeed. I think from their last 8, they've won 6 of them, but lost the last 2, including a loss to Fnatic recently. As for Fnatic, it's not like they're any strangers to this map, and they are on a 4-game win streak, including wins against Complexity and Copenhagen Flames, Godsent, as well as ENCE, who they're obviously going up against in this matchup. So I dare say they're feeling quite happy with how their performance has been going on Nuke. They're going to be able to start out on that CT side, and that seems like, from the statistics, a little bit better of a side for them, although it's not like they're going to be any slouches on that T side. So I think Fnatic, after putting that first map away, are going to be well within their comfort zone, and I think they're going to continue that momentum forward.
Now, I'm hearing in my ear that we've got an update from the A stream, so we're going to take a quick look at that as FaZe and Heroic, they're in the later stages of this game. I don't know about this one. This was always going to be another blockbuster, right? Like, you don't want these teams necessarily facing off against each other. This, to me, is an upper bracket semi-final, as we do see FaZe Clan actually taking the win in that first map. So, not necessarily surprised, but I think it's safe to say that Heroic are probably one of those teams you would be backing to take that series, particularly given their form running into this competition.
Yeah, you just can't mess around with FaZe on land, though. So much experience on that roster. Look, that was FaZe's pick. But at the end of the day, Heroic here at IEM Winter, they probably had quite lofty expectations. I remember seeing, Refresh obviously saying that they've only been playing up towards that 70%, and maybe they would have liked to, hit a better level or maybe even take some more tournaments over the course of this year, because this Heroic roster has been super, super consistent, super, super solid. They're just looking for the top end of that ceiling. So, look, 2 games in IEM Winter, both of them are close losses for Heroic. They got their map pick up next, so hoping to see them recover a little bit.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned Refresh. We're going to take a moment to refresh between map number 1 and map number 2. We'll be back with Nuke after the break.
Choose nades, choose a smoke, choose a flashbang. Choose team badges to support your favourite CSGO team. Choose an ESEA Premium membership. Choose routes you know bring in wins. Choose pro video tips. Choose the fan club wars. Choose behind the scenes content. Choose good grades. Choose guns you know you can shoot right. Choose bingo. Choose the equipment you know is going to get your team the win thanks to heat maps. Choose the CSGO Hub Premium, the complete package to help you and your squad achieve all your CSGO goals.
My time, family in a penthouse with a view sky high. Blood, sweat, and tears bring water to my eyes. Cause a whole gang winning, I done gave my life. Odds low, but we did it, ain't we? And we always moving, never on the same thing. Now our lives are highlight reel. We like the thrill, this life's ideal. The hype is real.
We know it, it's just the way we live. We
up here to potentially close out the series and move on in the bracket here at IEM Winter. As for ENCE, there haven't been ideal circumstances. There hasn't been an ideal start to this tournament for them. But Snappy's getting the boys pumped up regardless, and they're going to give this one a red-hot crack.
As we said, a red-hot crack is pivotal to your tournament lifeline here at IEM Winter. Group B is going to have one team sent home either after this map or after the next. It will either be ENCE or Fnatic, so that might be just the end of their calendar year here for 2021. As we do head on over with Fnatic on that CT side, ENCE, they have the chance to set that pace on the T side. Early smokes outside. And the adjustment coming through from Fnatic. Oh, Smooya has taken some some free haircuts.
Yeah, he's got the bonk on the noggin and broke his ankles. There's two players down in lower on towards CT. Sphinx takes the duel in Annex side. 3 in lower, 1 in upper for ENCE. They're just taking duels everywhere, but they're winning some of them. At least the important ones down in towards this lower side. Might be enough space gathered to get the bomb down. Alex going to harass them from Megaton and almost catches the bomb carrier crossing, but can't quite connect on the head. So the bomb will go down for ENCE.
Tough defense now, as they are just trapped behind the solo in the boxes. Doto and Snappy have got individual duels that they need to take now. Oh, Snappy is going to get away into decon, and he does. Closest the door. He's just going to buy himself some time now. Grims is criminally low. Mezzy is just going to tap the bomb. They're both going to aggress him. And hello, knock knock, who's there? It is an awkward encounter at the door. Snappy will fall. And that will be the defuse coming through from Fnatic. What a round. ENCE just that lower side aggression. A few duels though, individual duels. If they did go their way, would have been a totally different outcome for ENCE.
Yeah, that's the third pistol going to Fnatic. So they've definitely been the better pistoling side today. As for ENCE though, bomb plant is going to be good enough to have some of those AKs dropped over, and they're going to get a bit of a force buy going for themselves. Only 2 AKs invested in. One of which was purchased by Hades, the other dropped over by Snappy, and they could have had a third if they wanted, but still preferring a bit more utility and happy with a couple of Deegs. Going to throw a progression smoke on outside, initial utility to try to pressure these uppers players, but ENCE not speeding up just yet. In fact, running a bit of a slower round, now just down to a utility set and a half, and only the single smoke to get through the rest of this round.
Goblin taking a single tick of Molotov damage. But Fnatic are quite well set up. I don't mind the hero AK plays coming out of ENCE. They can really break a round open. Oh, Crims goes down, and that is a duel that leads to ramps being open. Just a quick swap of weapons. DR picks up the AK, though I don't know if he was much better than Hades. And well, Doto now has that M4 too, so there is Fnatic just harassing from the sidelines. They're not enough to prevent the bomb plant. And well, Fnatic are actually going to back off entirely. They want to save their weaponry.
And they've got a lot out of that round. They're going to be happy with it. M4 picked up as well, and the 2 AKs. And we'll keep those over. So, kicking things off early on the T side here is ENCE, definitely here to play. And although they didn't get the pistol, arguably in the current meta, losing pistol and winning second round puts the CT side economy into all kinds of sad situations. Whole team from Fnatic on that double eco territory, so we'll see what passage of play they do opt for. Whether it will be the force up around the couple of rifles, and indeed Deagle's being dropped over to afford Crimson Smooya some more utility most likely. Actually an MP9 thrown over to Smooya. So not a bad looking buy. They're still going to keep those couple of rifles in towards this round. But, you know, it's a bit of a mixed bag of lollies.
Could be the party mix though. That's what everybody wants to get their hands on. Biha though, cautious of these smokes as he's a solo outside operator. Not entirely sure what he's going to encounter. Again, just those Molotovs in top, just driving Fnatic out of their holding positions as they start to take control of outside. Trying to lure Fnatic into their crosshairs. Alex, ooh, that's a dangerous duel to take, and he pays the price.
He knows Fnatic's already lost first pick. He's the main one with some firepower in this round. He needs to find some impact for Fnatic. Because anywhere else that ENCE take those engagements, they're going to find potentially easier duels just in terms of the firepower. Smooya, however, has bided this time for long enough. It's still cleaned up by ENCE. We're not rushing things. Methodically working their way through the map. Trying to punish Fnatic for attempting to get back into these rounds on multiple fronts. Sphinx is still bloody on lobby roof, just chilling. Max chilling, dude. He's got a launch chair up there. And ENCE, it's pretty safe to say now, Jim, that these guys are rolling.
They definitely are rolling. And also throwing the punches. It's not just rolling with their opposition's punches. However, Fnatic, they have been steamrolled. And they just will have to take an eco. No investment whatsoever coming out from Fnatic. I wonder if they'll go for that outside stack. We see so often now.
Near the aircon.
Yep.
Definitely don't mind the aircon myself, considering how muggy it is today. One tap dirt nap for Crims.
Left, right, good night. As Snappy's just doing the obligatory due diligence.
I just see Smooya type something in the chat. I saw his arms moving, and his player model wasn't moving, and I heard a little tick saying, "Come get me, ENCE." Here's the footsteps upstairs. Gonna be making... He's the squeaky wheel in lowers right now.
Yeah, he's just trying to tempt ENCE into taking the bait, taking that duel. That's what he wants. ENCE are not convinced, though. Happy to just hold top side, let this round play out. It's theirs to lose. And they navigate their way quite comfortably through this anti-eco. Keeping 5 alive. Oh. And Snappy puts Smooya into the dirt. Another solid round for ENCE. They weigh it up, Fnatic, and they're going to go for the buy.
Yeah, buy cards in from them. Not looking to save any longer for an AWP or further utility. Quite happy with the A1Ss, maybe down to a FAMAS or an MP9 if you do want to get that full util set out or you value the kits. And Mezzy, I think in general, on buys like this, I've seen him more often than not take the FAMAS into the equation. Obviously, he's a player who is very, very good with his utility, but Roland's a player who's very, very good with his aim. He's opened up the accounting beautifully, just sliding through there onto that squeaky door line.
All too aware of that off-angle Sphinx was trying to get the jump on. However, now, ENCE back to the drawing board. No real opportunity for a trade to come through, and they are now set on this outside layering of smoke. It's going to go into see what they can produce.
Well,
see if they can get that player into secret.
Yeah, want to just spread the CTs a little thinner in this 4-on-5. Potentially open up some opportunities, and I have to say, you don't trust anyone on the lurk. Dihar would be a good shout, but most of ENCE walking out squeaky door, and that is Broland's territory. Takes 2.5 players with him. Mezzy now on the angle with the FAMAS. Smooya is thinking about coming up the vent. Not going to be allowed. Mezzy traded out. But Alex also has things under control. He's able to clean out that lurk on outside, and in a 3-on-1, it's really up to Fnatic to just play their cards right.
Nope. Snappy knows where 2 of Fnatic are. And it's just going to be a high-stakes game of either snakes and ladders or whack-a-mole. Smooya, better position all round. And that is
to himself.
I feel like this Fnatic roster, they have a lot of fun. I don't know. I feel like they're a fun team to play it.
Definitely some banter going on. Bringing some of that UK bants in.
It's all right, mate. It's just banter.
God. Look, nothing to smile about just yet for Fnatic though, Jim. Let's be real. ENCE still have great money. Not only do they full buy into this one, but they've even got cash for another full buy following this. Whereas Fnatic, they took substantial losses into that one. They're building a little bit of cash. Smooya. Shadow advantage doesn't even bloody matter. Diha is on one today.
Diha is auditioning for Disney on Ice. His strafing is incredible.
He's got a great voice too.
Absolutely. Yep, it's a chorus. As Alex does find the trade onto Hades, so he's lurking around looking for that second. Snappy is just looking to see if he can find that trade as Alex does consolidate his positioning all the way back to ladder base. ENCE are just searching for territory outside. They will reunite in lowers. No presence from Fnatic here.
Gonna go take a look for Brolin. ENCE just taking their time. Spinks really on him to control lobby. Potentially find a pick onto these Fnatic players. Messi's the first one to take contact, but he was only working with half his HP. And ENCE in the meanwhile taking more control in lowers. Alex gets rid of the player in Squeaky, but Brolin getting taken out of the equation on lowers gives space for ENCE to get themselves comfy in this post plant. Also got that man advantage. And Fnatic, so far away, doesn't seem like they're keen on going for this too much. Crims is still exploring his options, but he's only browsing really, Jim. He's not actually interested in making a purchase.
Retail worker's nightmare.
Get out of my shop. Trying to have my coffee break.
Now, they should be able to save quite comfortably. A lot of weight on Brolin's shoulders. He was the solo hope that they had in defending that lower bomb site. So, far too much for him to do. It was always going to be a question of whether or not he was overwhelmed. He didn't have his favourite org either, so maybe that was a factor. But realistically, far too much to do and no real position to work from. Once you're backed into a corner in decon, that's sort of it, really. You've got to just fight your way through. You just got to come out swinging.
It just feels like ENCE are never going to stop on this T side, Jim. Like, their money is just so good. Just full buys on full buys. Fnatic are living paycheck to paycheck. They're going to put in another couple of half buy. Another couple of half-bought pistols, rather. Small investments. Yeah, Crims was able to do damage with the A1S in a round like this before. Alex aggressive on outside. Dealt with by Diha. That is very much been marked as his territory in this game of Nuke so far. And in general, he's been a player that has kind of been quite defining for ENCE. Having that strong wing player on the T side can really exert a lot of pressure on your opponents, especially if there is that element of familiarity. Okay, what's going on there? Definitely going to be wanting a replay of that, if possible, but we'll see.
I'm certain it was just a miscommunication. Who stepped in front of who?
Bump their heads together.
They rub their brain cells together in this round. But I mean, it gives Fnatic a chance, right? Like, it really does slow ENCE down in this mid round. Probably not when they wanted it to. They have got heaps of territory to work with. And of course, that superior weaponry. But we know this Fnatic roster with those pistols always posing a threat. Smooya, he's just going to be barbecued. Oh, Snappy's all over this corner. However, Smooya, not long for this world. Good flash from the Annex, but it was far too late, and they're just going to punch their way on into topside. And well gripped from ENCE. They just easily clean the floor. And they find their fifth round, and you're right. Doesn't look like the party's going to stop anytime soon. Even time for kick-ons with that money from ENCE.
Yeah, they're balling out of control. They can shout all the boys' drinks.
The opulence on this ENCE roster.
They own everything.
Buying secondaries because they can, but you look at them. They're just shooting so far forward. They're retaining numbers in these rounds. It's not really looking too threatened. Fnatic, I mean, they're going to be buoyed by their win on Overpass, but like a totally different roster here on Nuke. It's not having the impact they wanted. Smooth is just being zoned out not having a lot of success outside. He's picked up that orb to try and turn the tide back in his favour.
Look, there is one kind of shining light for Fnatic fans, is that if you go back and look at the previous game on Nuke that these two teams played against each other, we did have both teams starting on the exact same sides, and at 5-2, Fnatic won 6 of the next 7. 7 of the next 8, I believe. And it's already going well for them. So, look, there's trends there to follow. One of them being D-Heart doming people on outside while being on roller skates.
D-Har on ice. Oh. That's just going to force Crims to back off, but Smooya picked up that orb, had immediate impact. He takes down his opposite number in Hades, and that just opens things up. And again, they're just going to walk into his crosshair. D-Har trying to take as much territory as possible, really trying to compress that Fnatic roster into top side. And that's just left Spinks and Doto, who are waiting to see whether or not his handiwork could be completed. They are caught in no man's land right now. They've got to group up. They've got to try and punch their way into one of these bomb sites. But without an opening, that task is looking difficult.
Dodo posting up on lines. And Spinks trying to get the boys down vent. There is definitely a gap for Brolin to work with there. And you don't want to give Brolin a single pixel to look at, because he'll be shooting you.
Ooh.
That's some great movement. He's doing some kind of breakdancing moves with the ragdoll there. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it was 5-2 in favor of ENCE in that DreamHack Open November game. And then Fnatic started picking up a whole lot of rounds. 7 of 8. So it almost seems like with that low econ, I mean, for most teams, it's very difficult to put something together. But once Fnatic gets AWP, gets util, gets guns going, they had a much better strike rate in the last game these two teams went head-to-head. So we'll see if that's going to be the case again. At least first gun round, they've passed the test. And again, Alex finding success on outside, starting to win some duels.
That's been where ENCE have had a lot of success, is outside. They needed to deal with this, and they have Fnatic. Now, Crims is going to have a lineup. Only finds one. And Smooya, he's the insurance policy. Is he going to step forward or back? And I think that's answered now, as they're not going to exact ramp control.
Yeah, man advantage for Fnatic. No need to force the issue too much. But man advantages can be very misleading on Nuke Gym. So many favourable scenarios the T's can put themselves in, and they look to do so down into lower. Smoke onto Decon. Roland. Still in towards control room, and he's in control of the situation right now, just anticipating all the peaks from the T's. Just Dodo with that AWP yet again. It's a nice shot onto Brolin, but it's not convincing me just yet after losing half his HP that he's going to be able to put together a clutch.
Grenade just forcing back the duo in the doors. Those two on that reposition. Trying to isolate angles here. Oh, Smooya all over it. And since picking up that AWP on CT side, he's found 4 frags in the last 2 rounds. And that has made things a lot easier for Fnatic. He's been an inspiration for them. And this is Chris from Brolin. We haven't seen him on the AUG just yet on that CT side like we did on Overpass, but nonetheless, his impact in holding these bomb sites on CT side certainly felt by ENCE. As we have ENCE now just talking this one through. They need to make some adjustments. They have reached that stage of their T-side half where Fnatic have made their own tweaks here and there to just counter what ENCE are doing. So this is a game of chess unfolding in front of us.
Yeah, Fnatic now getting comfy on that CT side, Jim. They've got guns, they've got util. It feels like they're in control, and they were bankrolling many expeditions on this T side. But they are running out of funds. We have had a couple of failed entrepreneurships for these lads, and this one's not going to start any better. What a beautiful flick out of Smooya. You love to see it. He is so good on that single zoom, man.
Oh, that's nasty. Absolutely nasty.
It just looks so smooth for him on the single zoom. Like, he's just got such a great intuitive sense for exactly how to hit the target lightning fast. He's not one of those like slow line up the shot AWPers, and that's what's so entertaining to watch.
And you can just see Spinks has got the task of trying to level the scores outside. In the meantime, the rest of ENCE have progressed through to the lower bomb site. Oh, Smooya gets the jump.
You can make a compilation of Smooya getting caught out with his knife in hand this game. But at the moment, I think you can make a bit of a Fnatic frag movie as well. Bombs dropped on outside for ENCE. Spinks, he wanted to be the contingency plan, and unfortunately, he never gets the opportunity to. Not enough pressure created elsewhere on the map for him to really come into the fray.
Oh, Brolin is going to find timing, but Spinks is all over that. And now they've given up so much territory. Fnatic in this 3 versus 2, they have to consolidate. There's only so many positions they can watch now. Spinks took way too much territory. Far too many angles for him to cover. So Doto, he's going to get onto that lower bomb site. Alex playing the off angle. Not too many positions he could go. And with 14 seconds left, there was not too much time to make all the checks and balances that he needed to. So back to a 5 apiece. ENCE have petered off while Fnatic, they have just got nasty. Oh. He's just broken some kid's poor screen, I reckon. Like, quite literally, someone in another server also just died.
It's definitely possible. Well, get the half buy-in here for ENCE. They have chewed through all of their funds. Built up nicely at the start of this half, but it feels like Fnatic can just not be faulted right now. Mezzi aggressing into Heart, Crim's deep in radio. So some aggressive duels could potentially be taken by some of the CT boys. They're starting to back things up a bit. Don't want to test their chances too much against the Pistolas.
It's the right approach, though. Fashioning this crossfire. Smooya on point. Oh, okay. Timing might not work out for him. Uh-oh. He's been caught. Crims is there to just punch them all out. 5 for him. An eco ace, but you'll take them every day of the week.
Yeah. He's the quintessential anchor in every situation. Just famous for his anchoring play, and it's just another day at the office when he's got a whole bunch of T's running at him. Tuck timeout coming in here for ENCE. They need to break this dry streak because things are getting a little worrying. Now they've got the guns back in their hands. We'll get some input from Snappy. Have a chat to the boys and see what they can come up with.
If you're Fnatic, everything's looking up Millhouse. They've been able to just get themselves into far better position in these last few rounds. Just a few tweaks here and there. Smooya picking up that AWP outside. It's just giving him an extra dimension. I mean, he's still getting caught out in the mid to late rounds, but it's the opening impact that he's having that are just thinning the numbers of ENCE, just limiting their options. So let's see what ENCE do on this adjustment. Roland's actually going to, thought for a moment, potentially push up close at Silo, but it's more towards Squeaky. So, oh, Crimps, this is...
Yeah. Beautiful. Fnatic, after the tack timeout comes in from ENCE, they played the disruption game. ENCE meticulously planning how they want their gun round to unfold. Trying to play to their outs, play to their win conditions. But Crims is not going to allow you to play the round that you wanted to. Already, things are not going as planned for ENCE. They've lost that first pick, the aggression through radio room. And now it's adapt or die for them. Smokes towards outside. Trying to create some space for D-Hut across to Secret. While the rest of ENCE group up in towards lobby. But it does seem like he's going to creep Annex instead, Jim. Yeah,
he's been so solid for them. He's been able to fashion these picks outside, and he's the right player for the job. Roland, though, wise to it. Now it is getting increasingly impossible as Smooya does finish Hades through the wall. And that is a nice clean-up for Fnatic. I thought maybe there was a chance. They had D-Hard. They had the right personnel for the job in the right positions. But They had all turtled up on that top side. Fnatic with the right read.
Yeah, they're looking good for it, Jim. They've on a 4-winning streak on Nuke in the last couple of months here, last 2 or so months. And they're looking to make it 5. As soon as they got guns and util in their hands, Fnatic have been absolute gold. And ENCE, it was a good start to things, but you know, when you go up 5-2 on that T side, some of that is predicated off the fact that you're not playing against the CTs at full strength. And they're going to need to find some answers for Fnatic now that they do have access to the AWP. Smiga's just been hitting shots. And in general, Fnatic is just a solid outfit across the board.
This is ENCE's map pick, and they were just looking solid in initial stages, but they really have faltered heading into these later rounds now. But here we go, Pain Train all towards ramps. They're going to beat that smoke out. Crims though, he's had some success already, the Eco Cobra, but he's going to be overwhelmed now. Alex cannot help him whatsoever. And they're going to hit this bottom side quite quickly. Brolin's in the door. And the question is, can they get 4 to the floor for this retake?
Yeah, tease. Gonna go take Decon if they can here. Hades on the late lurk has made a bit of a meal of it, Jim. He had the opportunity to find a freebie for ENCE and make their life a little easier. But things get challenging now. The tease spreading out a little bit more. Snappy's kind of got to be the one to activate. But Spink's doing good work from the side. Snappy finds a decent timing on the duel, but the raw adjustment a little bit too good for Mezzy. Spink's doing his best, but it's all left on Dodo. He's smoked off in Decon now. And Smooya going to get on the defuse.
Oh, the cover. Smooya on 1 HP. Now, you had a saying for this. It was either part of a B.
Yeah,
They win that round.
it's true.
It's a family show. So I'll leave that one to the imagination.
Yeah, I think, if anything, ENCE feeling a little bit stung at this point. Definitely got a sting for him. Almost could have put that together, to be honest. Hades, if he found that D pick, would have made things easier. Almost cleaned up Smooya on the defense, on the defuse rather. And it's been Alex who's often been aggressing this outside part of the map with the rifle. So it's good to see Fnatic mixing things up. Diha playing a certain way in the matchup against Alex is not how you'd want to play up against taking that duel with an AWPer. So that's where those potential chances at the openings given to Fnatic do come into account. But for ENCE now, throwing this wall of smoke in. They haven't used it too much. Often they've just been pushing and pulling the rotations with it, trying to create opportunities. This time, Diha is going to make it in towards Secret. This has 100% been heard by Smooya. And as such, rotation is pulled down into lower from Alex.
No picks going either way. Clock is ticking. Snappy just throwing absolutely everything on his belt to try and make a bit of noise, try and make that push and pull effect. He felt by Fnatic here. Diha has so much territory. Alex is just playing fairly open position, but Diha has to make the move, and he's just going to break through that smoke. Crims now is also going to be activated, and Alex has control of the lower bomb site. 20 seconds left. We've got to get a wriggle on here. ENCE, and they're getting cut to pieces as they're trying to take territory here. And, well, Hades gets punished for trying the kickflip big twist. And that is going to be it. 5 seconds left. All they can save is that AWP. Fnatic are not going to aggress either. They're just too far away. So ENCE, they ran down the clock and they got punished. They had no territory to work with.
Yeah. Kind of relying on Diha to find a bit more space in towards lower there. And ENCE, you know, it's a tale as old as time. Get the player down the vent or get the player into Secret and then see what you could do to meet up with that player, whether it's go through Secret using those smokes or whether it's contacting ramp. And ENCE obviously investing a lot, getting Diha down there, trying to contact ramp to close out the round and meet up in towards lower. They're looking to change the pace a little perhaps in this round. Gonna get Sphinx down vent.
That's far better. For ENCE. And Smuya's down there. Smuya's already run into contact. So Spinks has been peppering him. They know where he is. Sent 2 to deal with him. In the meantime, that's given ENCE so much territory. They might be in trouble here. But they are aware of the fact that they've given control of ladder base and ramps away. The readjustments come through from Fnatic. They've pushed up far more advanced positions. Crims is ready. He's defending ladder base. And now, both CTs playing around that vent and Hut. Brolin goes down. And now ENCE are trying to swing the pendulum back in their favor. Taking control of the top site. Snappy will be able to take control as long as Dihar gets into position. And he does. A grenade. They know where Snappy is. But he's just taken so much attention away from the rest of ENCE.
Oh, Alex popping up the vent off the back of Crims's flash. Let's find the opener for Fnatic, but 2 of them so injured. And Dihar playing from heaven. Could be the win condition for ENCE here. Hades finds the first pick on Alex, trying to creep through Hut. Now Fnatic are so far out of position, trying to make their way through Annex, but the door's shut. Hades standing firmly in front of it. Spots out with the jump peak, and Dihar's going to clean that one up from heaven. Fnatic, they win 7 in a row, but not the 8th. ENCE break the dry streak, and they will look to potentially try to continue their own heading into the next half.
Hey Future Pros! Back on Nuke this time with a nifty smoke from Frozen that will give you a cheeky one-way for outside. To throw this smoke, get into the corner next to this door at main. Aim along this line in the middle between this dot and this vertical line while crouched. Then simply stand up and jump on the smoke. It takes a little while for the smoke to land, so don't expect it to be there before an outside rush could come in. But it's good to stall out the T's and gain some extra control. If anyone is foolish enough to walk by, they are easy pickings. There is another way to throw the smoke, maybe a lesson for another time.
Snappy. But he's got a gun for every occasion in either hand. It's not really going to do him too many favors, though. Hades has found Brolin in the meanwhile, and Sphinx trying to pick the players on the cross, use the USP where it does its best work. Dodo finds himself in a beautiful position, and they all just run into his crosshair. He slams the door open, and slams shut the door on Fnatic's hope in this round. A pistol that is much needed for ENCE. I had a dry spell of rounds at the middle to the end of that last half, but they take the last round and another pistol for them, or at least the first pistol of this whole game, actually. The other 3 won by Fnatic. Will be a welcome sight.
You just see Alex's his head roll back, right? After Fnatic lose 4 there. Didn't really feel too much confidence trying to take that pistol, but you're right, they do break that streak. They haven't had any success in the pistols up until now, and it's exactly at the right time. Backs it to the wall. This is their map pick. They're down by now only 2 rounds. So, what better time for them to step up? Of course, by coming through from Fnatic, Smooya just trying to get his Foon going onto the top of Silo. Deha has made outside his own, however, he's been capped.
Yeah, nice opening pick on the scout from Smooya. That puts ENCE under a little bit of pressure here. They've lost a little bit of territory on outside, but Hades on that org, on the off angle, could definitely help out, especially if Smooya does the race car peek and the double zoom. Straight across outside might be a little bit easier of a shot on that off angle, and indeed it is for Hades, but has he potentially overlooked Alex creeping up in this close position. Duels being taken in the meanwhile towards ramp side, all going the way of ENCE, but Alex shot in the side of the head. That's all gonna be what was given to the boys over there on Fnatic in that round. And ENCE, look, they cleaned it up. They had 3 alive. That's kind of the pass score, Jim. Now they move into the anti-eco. The round didn't start well for them.
No.
Lighter of a shot from Smooya. But they cleaned it up regardless.
I thought maybe it would have been a chance for Alex to utilize that org, but as soon as he made his presence known, he just had numbers swarming in his direction, couldn't even get the quick switch going, and now Fnatic are just going to up the pace a little bit here through the smoke. Deha says peekaboo, and will continue to just bounce around as he is going to be harassed by Crims. And he needs an exit strategy. Crims has his. And so they do the dance. And the utility support is there for ENCE to make sure Deha can get away.
Yeah, if anything, though, he'll probably look to regress at some point. Snappy goes down in ramp rune, though, and this kind of complicates things. We are trying to take that duel with the org at long range. It's so annoying to hit him through that box. He's Brolin out, though. He's gone soul searching in the ramp room. See if he's found himself.
Okay. Smooya. Sphinx is all over him. Rolling now on the angle. Will be cleaned up. So ENCE do keep that nice and clean. Firing only Snappy going down. So this is where they want to start to build. They're equalizing that scoreline. And Fnatic taking a timeout. An important one heading into their first gun round. They've got to work out a game plan here. And on the flip side of things too, ENCE, where are they going to put their chess pieces?
Yeah. I mean, they've had a better start to this half than some of the halves on Overpass, but arguably going up 5-2 on their T side, they will have been happy with that. Although they only managed to get 6 across the line. It's put them in the pole position after completing Pistol and the Anti-Force to take control of this game anew, can keep themselves alive here in IEM Winter. Every single round that ENCE is able to pick up here is a little bit less pressure on their shoulders. But with a couple of the CTs a little bit broker than the rest into a round like this, Fnatic has very real reset potential.
Immediate pressure towards Squeaky, just trying to keep those players out of the Annex. However, Doto all over Mezzy. Mezzy's so fast, but Doto's quicker. Trades go either way now. And Fnatic are just looking to put pressure on his top side. It's working. And they have collapsed in this defense.
Yeah, Snappy. Punished for zooming up the vent there. Zooming up, putting the bomb down. 80s. Don't know what business he's really got in a round like this. Gonna try to force one of the T's out into the open, but it's very real safe territory as he gets smoked off in towards Annex side again. If he does keep himself alive with the 4.2, he could drop at least one gun over. He can even think about buying himself an AWP and dropping the AUG to one of the boys.
Tantalizing prospect. But they're going to need to find something. Certainly hasn't been success in this round. I like the approach from Fnatic. It was nothing fancy. They just kept the player outside in the Annex, isolated him, and then took the fights in top site. Pressure early on.
Ooh, could even be the double or if ENCE were feeling like it, but no. Dodo drops the AWP. Hades going to drop over a rifle. And ENCE actually end up with a pretty serviceable buy, all things considered. Snappy onto the Famus. Do have only the one kit, but the util is pretty good across the board. Well, Fnatic passed the test in the first gun round, but they're going to need one more to put themselves in the pole position to close this series out. Quick progression smoke across outside.
Oh, this grenade from Snappy. Doesn't get thrown just yet. Again, just trying to get that player down into secret. Nothing special, nothing too fancy.
Yeah, just the 4-1. Mezzi being left to mind lobby. See if he can find any picks and control rotations. Fnatic going loud in towards all heard by Snappy. He's called for some rotation, some support. Hades. It's an interesting position to find yourself in, down in towards lower with that AWP. He's got a great line into decon. See if he can do any damage.
Question is, where is the next pressure point going to appear for Fnatic? Well, Mezzi's actually found the opening onto Doto, so it is going to get difficult from here. Yes, they have good lines, and Spinks has arrived to save the day, but Hades misses that shot. And now Diha and Spinks, they are too far separated to try and make this work. Spinks is completely whited out, and now Diha has the vent. He has the element of surprise. With that bomb yet to be planted, it could be a chance back into the round, and smartly Fnatic, they're going to back off. They're going to take that bomb away, back to top site, through Alex, into ladder base. Diha has to do the hot shoe shuffle.
Yeah, straight up the ladder. Held nicely by Mezzi. Beautiful. In the 1-4, you always want that lurking player to be able to control the rotations, to be a thorn in the side of the CTs and give you a little bit of a contingency plan, and that's exactly what Mezzi did. Punishes that player, either pushing hard or trying to cross into Squeaky, and does give Fnatic an out when they don't feel comfortable enough to committing in towards lower there. I have to say, ENCE had a decent read, a decent handle on things, but it just feels like they're not converting a lot of their shots as consistently as Fnatic have been across the board.
Set themselves up nicely for these duels too. It's not as though they're finding poor timing and positioning. Now back onto just a single CZ of P250. Minimal investment from ENCE. Oh, and the triple stack it. Ramp.
4 stack, I think.
Oh, okay.
Got 2 little totem poles side
Very
by
nice.
side. It's a bit of a tiki bar kind of arrangement.
Do they get better reception?
Not sure. Speaking of which, had some of the Fnatic boys vacating the lobby. They've already checked in. They're looking to book themselves a stay further on in IEM Winter, if possible. They're definitely in the pole position to do so. Money's good on the T side. Just want to avoid losing extra guns in this anti-eco. So they could go up 12-9 with the confidence that they have plenty more gun rounds left in the tank.
Yeah. Just to remind you too, ENCE do lose this match. They cannot qualify for IEM Katowice via ESL Pro to a points system. They will have to go the manual route. So some extra spice for your evening, or your afternoon, or your morning, depending on where you are in the world.
It's like a double whammy. It's enough to be knocked out of the tournament, but to lose your opportunity to play in another simultaneously is not the ideal day at the office for the boys on ENCE. Fnatic, they were definitely running the clock down there a little bit, but all in the day's work for Smooya, who seems to be operating his head on a swivel right now. Case in point right there. And that's beautiful. 5 alive for Fnatic. Like, this is great money. Everything's screaming Fnatic winning this game of Nuke right now, Jim.
It really is starting to feel that way now. ENCE take a timeout. They don't want that momentum shift to really sink in for Fnatic. They need to do something to curb the upward trend we're seeing on the team economy here, presented by Coinbase. But let's just see whether or not they make those right adjustments. It's, as we said, it's not as though they're not setting themselves up for those firefights or being caught out of position. They're just not hitting those shots.
Yeah. At least not as consistently as the Fnatic boys across the board. There just hasn't been that spice or that punching power on the ENCE squad. They're still putting in work. They're still putting in the kills, but I feel like the multi-frag potential has not really been there for most of the ENCE players outside of Spinks and Diha in some of these rounds. Initial opening to this round, progression smoke on outers, as well as to try to drop Squeaky. Fnatic just keeping the CTs guessing about what's happening here, but with the L smokes being invested in as well, there's no more smokes here for Fnatic in a round like this. Alex going to try to creep his way in towards Warehouse and knife out. D has got that under control. That's kind of been the duel of the game so far. Alex versus D-Hard. Dodo's got Annex covered. 2 players from Fnatic. It's being absolutely domed, trying to walk out of smokes. So Fnatic not happy with how that initial exchange towards outside has gone. They're going to try to explore their options towards ramp room, but it's not going well so far. Counter flash is beautiful. Hades on the line, further extending ENCE's advantage. That's the bomb dropped.
2 absolute freebies to open things up too. That's not the way Fnatic would have wanted to start this round, particularly on the back of that tactical timeout. But now, let's take the jewels. Snappy is completely obliterated, and Smooya deletes Spinks. And now they have control of lowers, so they turn it back to a 2v3. Doto's going to arrive at Decon, and he's going to go down at 2. So this is now a round that Fnatic are going to potentially win 2v5. Smooya's got the off angle here.
There's no way. We've seen way too many 2-on-5s, Jim. Oh my god. The UK duo is absolutely money for Fnatic. ENCE, they should have won that round every bloody day of the week. They've given multiple freebies. I would even say that ramp room frag, somewhat of a freebie. 2 Fnatic players walking out of smokes, getting domed, just donating kills to the ENCE squad. The player at ramp room getting taken out of the equation as well, but Smooya and Mezzy, just beautiful work on the AKs. And ENCE, right now, they're looking a bit defeated, and I don't blame them.
That's around. I mean, you should be converting a 3v5. And then, every day of the week, right? Like those opening 2 kills. They literally walked through smokes. There was no trade potential whatsoever. And ENCE, as you said it, they're not going to be feeling anything other than flat right now.
Just demoralizing for ENCE. Going to be very hard for them to pick themselves back up after losing a round like that. They're going to go in for the half buy here. Keep their options open. But it's going to take some concerted effort and some good play from the individuals to get ENCE back into a winning position. If they converted that round, I think they would have really started to believe, and this could have been a much more competitive game. But the fact that Fnatic have been able to pull off that 2-on-5 is really ludicrous.
Yeah, and now they got that clear financial advantage here. Doto peaks at the best possible time, but does not catch the timing to Alex. Top side here is going to be under some duress as they just snake on in. Nothing ENCE can do. Snappy and Hades are going to be looking for exits, and that's about it. So Fnatic are just lurching towards that match point, and there really doesn't seem to be too much ENCE can do. A likely buy on the back of this, but They need to find some inspiration on those gun rounds. It's going to be a while before they break Fnatic's money.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is they're 5 behind Fnatic. And with how strong that T-side economy is, ENCE, they're going to have to win majority of gun rounds in a row. I mean, that much is obvious, but by the time they put that much work in, they're going to reduce their own loss bonus. So if these are close rounds, Fnatic very rarely have that reset potential. And even if Fnatic does breeze through the majority of this economy they've built up for themselves, that's where their loss bonus will kick in. And we've all seen how that story goes. Full loss bonus on the T side plus bomb plants. You're potentially looking at, I would say, like maybe 1 eco from the T side. The rest of this half, they're going to be buys on buys on buys. And that means that this game is super, super difficult for ENCE. They've got absolutely no room for error.
Been a tough competition for ENCE too. Lacking Snappy on day 1. Madden did a fantastic job coming into the side, but bolstered by Snappy's return.
Ooh, good opener.
Here we go.
It's going to settle
Takes a lot of
things.
damage. That's the settler. You're right, Pilski.
After those outside smokes, Alex has found some good territory. Smooya trying to bring things back, but Diha, once again, doing good work on outside. ENCE coming out ahead in the opening states of this round. Another 5-on-2.
Nedge is taking his aim drills and flattening Fnatic. Fnatic looking the ones like they're on the back foot now. It's a total change of the tide. And I mean, if you're Mezzy here, you're looking to do damage.
Diha's all over that. 3k for him. Hades opens up the round beautifully. And that's how they wanted their other 5-on-2 to go. ENCE having no issues finding opening picks. But I don't know if I'm going to back them to start every round that beautifully. These last couple of gun rounds have looked pretty solid for them in the opening parts of the round. But they're not going to get gifted those picks on a silver platter every time. They need to work for some of these rounds in the mid to late round, and that's where Fnatic have been the goods.
Taking pause for reflection here, Fnatic. And they want to put themselves on potentially that map point. They've reduced their opponent's loss bonus nicely. So if they do manage to take the round win here, that will have ENCE really scrambling to put together a buy and essentially put their backs to the wall fighting against 5 match points. However, as we said, it is going to take a concentrated effort from ENCE to really have to just grind out these gun rounds before they break Fnatic's economy. They are partly way there, but still a few rounds off. The hard yards are yet to come.
Quick smoke there to the front of Squeaky, as always. Spam through for Grims. I think he spots the cross of Diha. Trying to play confident and aggressive on outside. It's done well for him. And again, spotted by Alex. So Fnatic just keeping tabs on Diha right now. They don't want to be taking a heads-up duel against him, which is probably sensible. But they do just kind of want to unsettle him and make sure that he doesn't get in their spawn. And Alex is basically just posted on that angle, waiting for that aggression. Fnatic buying their time. Seems like they're getting ready for this set play, Jim.
Everything posturing. All that set play on top. Let's just see whether or not they choose to execute on it. Mezzy's just been unleashed out the door. They've let him off the leash to try and open things up. However, there is no adjustment coming through from Fnatic. They're actually going to take this duel now at ramps. They're going to give a chance out of Hades as he backs off. However, Alex is doing work on the opposite end of the map. Hades, though, he is on a merry-go-round. So they break their way into the lowers. Should be able to get the bomb plant here, though.
Yeah. ENCE have their work cut out for them, though. Fnatic takes some territory towards control room. Brolan was doing great work from that position on the CT side and now joined by Smooya. The retake is on for ENCE. Dodo exploring secret. It's a multi-pronged retake in here for ENCE as they come down Vents room as well as Megaton. But it's really got to be Dodo to be doing the heavy lifting here as he runs into the two-man crossfire. At least Crims gets cleaned up. Hades on a bit of a tear this round. And ENCE are all over it right now. Smooth to clutch 1 on 3.
I'd be blindsided too, potentially. Oh, misses that shot into Hades. They are defusing this bomb. They've got Overwatch here. And Smooya, that's all we can get away with. Just a frag for his trouble. He gave up.
He took his hands off the keyboard and then took an extra shot, and you saw that second of panic in his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're actually hunting me. Hold on.
That's a round that, no doubt, ENCE would have been sweating their way through. Taking 3 losses, though, in that round means that their economy is still fairly slim. They're operating on some shoestring budgets heading into the pointy end of this match.
Polish boys really getting fired up for ENCE right now, though. It's been Hades and D-Hart doing very, very solid work in the opening parts of some of these rounds. Again, Fnatic really leaning on these L smokes towards outside time and time again. Doing different variations, as you often see on Nuke, conditioning the CTs to play a certain way off the back of your smokes and mixing in different approaches. So push into Annex goes well. I think Alex passes a player in towards Warehouse as well, so D-Hart fights the better of him, but Sphinx tucked into the back of the site, does get cleaned up as well, and Snappy now going to wait in for the retake.
Oh, Mezzy has to escape that Molotov. The D-Hart's done a good job of zoning him out, and now they are not even going to be able to get that bomb plant down without being harassed from the wings. Smooya is just patiently waiting out this ramp push, but there is no reason to aggress thus far. Rowan has to take that firefight. Snappy steps for the trade, and now it is Hades on. However, Snappy, he has just rolled on through that top site. Fnatic, they are starting to run low. And with that AWP purchase back in, this is still a long grind for ENCE. I mean, they're playing every round here. But potentially a tournament lifeline. Remember, they get sent out in groups like this. They lose the opportunity to qualify for IEM Katowice via the ESL Pro Tour points system.
Well, ENCE, great openings into most of these rounds. Fnatic, you're right, they're running out of cash, but the loss bonus has got their back, so look, they might have to take 1 save if this round doesn't go well, but after that, it's going to be good gun rounds to end out the half. Alex again, down towards Secret, applying pressure, trying to pull the CTs apart if possible. Dodo posturing aggressively, still hasn't seen anyone take contact on that T side, and again, Fnatic just going to keep things simple. Have that player down lower. Going to start to contact toward the ramp room.
Nice pop flash into ramp. Alex not expecting that line from Doto. The work now needs to be done here at ramps. Nice little pop flash from Elbow. Allows Hades to find the opener there, and that is going to be a tough run for Fnatic as they get control of ramp room, but that's it. They have no further territory as Crims goes down in the annex.
Wow. ENCE are all over this. Just another great round where they're winning a lot of important duels. They go up 5v2 again without a single trade back from Fnatic.
Oh, Snappy. There's a lot of damage to Mezzy, so it's been a real live wire for them. Is this one in his wheelhouse? It is not to be. ENCE are knocking on the door of Fnatic. And, well, without success here. Still, I'm going to say another 2 buys in the tank for Fnatic, with that loss bonus starting to creep up.
Yeah, the good news for ENCE, though, is so many of these rounds have been so clean. They kicked them off with 2 or 3 unanswered picks quite regularly, so they've actually bought themselves a little bit of space here. Fnatic taking their last tack time out here, having a chat about how they want to proceed into a round like this. They've got 3k on 2 of the players, so only now just capping out their loss bonus after this round means that this one's probably a half bite. So you're probably going to stay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a hero AK or something out of him, but he does want to keep that ult fund going if possible. So yeah, it is just a straight up half buy in here for Fnatic. See if they can steal themselves around.
They can farm some money with that Mac 10 even better. But look at this sheer pace from Fnatic coming out. Spinks though, he's good for 2 and he's going to hold strong as he runs out of bullets. And well, Alex does overwhelm him, so they will be able to get the bomb plant down. That's exactly the win condition of Fnatic want. They've run through the smokes. Hades now there in a 1 versus 2. He's picked up the AK. And he has to avoid disaster here for ENCE. It's a hard-fought comeback. It was just a fast, explosive hit on top side. And the pistols are overwhelming. He's going to check. Oh, no, he's put himself in the smoke. Disaster. Messi had that line. Hades was checking it. But he walks straight into the smoke, blinding himself to the angle. And that is a round gone begging for ENCE.
Weren't ready for the pace that Fnatic had showed in that round. They've played so many slow tempo rounds. ENCE lured into a false sense of security, conditioned to play a certain way, and caught completely off guard. 2 players out in the open, getting caught full white by the flashes. And it's a beautiful mix-up from Fnatic to steal themselves a series point here to stay alive in IEM Winter. Dihar spotted on outside. Crimson Alex want to see if they could try to isolate him. They're even going to pull the AWP over.
Just that to and fro battle outside.
Oh,
Smear
no.
posts up. Dia. Incentive was there to try and step, maybe catch them as they were rotating away, but Fnatic all too wise for that.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the end for ENCE. They've got no utility left to play with, really. Trying to fight towards Squeaky. Smear punishes another rifler swinging an angle. And ENCE got to try to make this 3-on-5 worse. Spinks tucked into Heart. Hades, that's a nice push around the smoke, but now this site's open for business, Jim.
And I think it's closing time for ENCE. Oh, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. As Snappy goes down, that is ENCE knocked out of IEM Winter. Fnatic progress, and we will be back after the break to take a look at how this match played out. eliminating ENCE from IEM Winter 2021, securing their place in the lower bracket, and unfortunately forcing ENCE into a position where they now have to qualify for IEM Katowice via a different route. So it was very much a concentrated effort from Fnatic in that second half. It looked as though ENCE were starting to turn the tide in their favour, but I guess that's the theme for this series, was that ENCE was so close, but in the pivotal moments just landed so far from where they needed to be.
Yeah, they started to put the pieces back together in a couple of those critical gun rounds. Look, there was a couple of heartbreak rounds there for ENCE, and it was a similar story in their opening BO1 against VP. That was a very, very close affair that really could have gone either way, but particularly this game here today, both that opening game of Overpass as well as here on Nuke, I think ENCE lost a couple of rounds that they probably didn't really expect to. I go back to that Mezzy Deagle play on Overpass where he was able to dismantle ENCE. Then I look at ENCE kind of getting caught off guard by the half buy coming in from Fnatic. I think ENCE as well just really failing to find a round on this T side after Fnatic got guns might have contributed in a really, really close game like this. So a couple of situations where ENCE went wanting, and it's worth mentioning because it's a stark contrast to the rounds where they did well for themselves. There was so many rounds for ENCE where it seemed like they were finding opening picks with ease. It seemed like they were going up, 5v3, 5v2 quite routinely. But when things fell apart, it really just went pear-shaped for them.
Well, that was a case in point, right, Pilsky? That 2v5. That was just capitulation from ENCE, right? Like, you shouldn't have a situation where you lose a round with such a clear player advantage on that CT side.
Yeah, there was a couple of rounds this series rather where ENCE definitely kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I think you talk about the 2v5, you talk about the Deagle play, you talk about the half buy. If they're able to be a little bit more consistent closing out those kind of situations, then maybe we would have had a different result there. Because, like I said, when they're on their game, on their gun rounds, it's clear that they are able to do damage. They're able to keep things competitive, but Fnatic's just a little bit more in the tank. I think Overpass was a little bit more convincing from them. Nuke really could have gone either way, but I think Fnatic, it's safe to say, they were front-running this whole series, and I think it's good to see them pick up the win and move on to the tournament.
I think that eliminates some questions too about the honeymoon phase of this new Fnatic iteration, that roster. They came into this competition with a win streak. They had a 12-series win streak, and in the first round, Gambit were able to break that. And we thought maybe this was the honeymoon period starting to fade away into its twilight. But they bounced back with a good series against ENCE. However, it must be mentioned for ENCE, right? It's been a tough tournament for them. Yesterday, they were forced to play in their opening best of one without the IGL. They had to use a stand-in. Madden did very well for himself, but he admitted in that interview that they didn't have any practice leading into it.
Yeah, it's a rough situation to be in for ENCE. Definitely not the ideal start to a tournament like this, and maybe if they had been a little bit more comfortable and had better circumstances, then it could have been a different story for them. But unfortunately, that's them bowing out of IEM Winter, and obviously a little bit more difficult now for them to go and qualify for Katowice as well. So look, for ENCE, maybe these last couple of tournaments not really going the way that they would have wanted. But for Fnatic, I think they're just continuing on that upward trajectory, right? They win this BO3, they keep themselves alive in towards that lower bracket. And I have to say, considering they're going to move on and play either Big or Godsent, that's another series that I look at, and I think that's very winnable for them.
Absolutely, looking the goods too. And I think, that's the sort of matchups that they probably be more so prepared for, is those Big or those Godsent matchups. It's, I guess, within their territory as a particular series that they could win, right? Like, they do, the playstyle that we're seeing from this Fnatic roster certainly do damage against either of those two teams. We know that Godsent are certainly very structured. They've got a young roster. They might start to have a bit of fatigue as well, being on the road for so long. Remember, they've been in Europe since the start of, well before the major, and they've had a run of incredibly tough tournaments coming into this, obviously buoyed by the fact that they qualified for, the group stage of ESL Pro League, winning that third placing in conference. They're going to be certainly, I guess, we'll see where they're at as a team, whereas Big, obviously, I don't know. I feel as though they're either here or they're there. They're never in between. Big are either a threat to the competition and firing all cylinders, or they're bowing out way too early.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Big put together a solid victory there in the opener against FaZe. So that is somewhat of a promising side, but an OT victory in a BO1 is not really something to hedge your bets on. I think an easier opponent in theory, if you look at the context of this tournament going in against Godsent, you're probably happy with that matchup, and that's going to be kind of my barometer. Like if they beat Godsent fairly convincingly, then that might be a little bit of a settler for me in the context there for Big. But they have bought themselves a little bit more space in that upper bracket at least.
Now, if you've been following closely, you will know that there is another game going on. It is that FaZe versus Heroic matchup. We'll take a quick look and see where they're at as, well, FaZe, right? They were the team to beat, well, actually, sorry, Heroic were the team to beat, but let's just say FaZe, certainly not in the best form right now, able to take a victory.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe, they won a very, very close opening game there on Inferno. And now it almost looks like they might be able to take the 2-0, and that would be pretty disappointing for Heroic, who had an opening BO1 against Godsent that I think 99% of people would have tipped them to win. But they're potentially going to go 0-3 at IEM Winter and bow out of the tournament early. That's going to be a bit of a heartbreaker for those boys.
Absolutely, given the fact that they are a team too that definitely do a lot better in the LAN environment. And that's what IEM Winter is. It's a LAN environment. So it's been a while for a lot of these players before, getting back onto LAN. So to see Heroic bow out would be disastrous, not only for, I guess, a team that has had a lot of highs in 2021. This would be ending the year on a bit of a low.
Yeah, that's for sure. But if you look at that round, I mean, they put themselves in the driver's seat 5-on-3. So maybe this could be the start of them picking up the pieces and pick themselves up a couple of rifles and try to push this into OT, and it's anyone's game there.
Certainly is. Now, as you said, this is the update from the A stream. We're, of course, on the B stream. We've got some banging matches coming up later, of course, with that Liquid versus Astralis. But, I mean, if you've only just tuned in, ENCE are out of the competition. They bow out of IEM Winter. Probably a bit too cheaply for their liking. They would have come into this, as we said, looking for some redemption, looking to just settle the roster heading into 2022. But as we see here, FaZe just demolishing. And, well, it's just round after round here. Heroic are just clinging on. I feel like that one's going to go into OT, but if you do like how that match is progressing, please head on over to the A stream. That's ESL_CSGO. And we're going to take a quick look at how the Group B bracket is progressing. Let's just take a look at some of these results. Of course, we just saw Fnatic take out ENCE. They progress into that lower bracket. As we said, they will take on the loser of Big and Godsent. But both Gambit and Virtus Pro, they're still alive in this competition with both their lives.
Yeah, absolutely right. You do have Fnatic going up against Big and Godsent. The loser of that will be sent down into that lower bracket. As for FaZe Clan and Heroic, I mean, it just never gets easier, mate. You know, that lower bracket game, a do or die match between FaZe Clan and Heroic is not something that most people would have been expecting. But even after they move on, they play Gambit or Virtus Pro. It's just ludicrous. That is just a lower bracket of death right there. So whoever is moving their way out of that one will have already played a lot of very, very solid best of threes and had a lot of solid wins under their belt. And comparatively, there will definitely be some teams in there that potentially had some easier runs, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that match that we just crossed to, it's FaZe Clan and Heroic. It's a lower bracket round one elimination match. Yep. That's ludicrous to me, right? Like, it's not what you would expect, but I think it just goes to show, I think in Group B here too, they've been quite fortunate, whereas Group A, they had to play their elimination matches in the same day, some of those teams. So at least both FaZe and Heroic would have had that day to just reset and recoup and prepare themselves, whereas the teams in Group A unfortunately didn't have that luxury.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, obviously just make all the difference if you get those extra days of prep, and you can obviously set yourself up in a better position, have yourselves a little bit of a rest. But some teams also do like the match fitness and do like to play a lot of those games back to back. So guess it depends on which camp you kind of fall into and what you prefer in that regard. I think Yeah, the team that gets out of that FaZe Clan Heroic game has still got plenty more work to do. It's kind of crazy. We're still in the group stage. There's still going to be more playoffs to look forward to after that. So, just a lot of great CS that you will be blessed with right from the get-go. Sometimes the group stages can kind of be a foregone conclusion, a bit of a formality, but definitely not in this tournament. Those opening game BO1s have thrown things for a bit of a spin, I suppose.
It really is the spanner thrown into the works for all these teams, but come all ye faithful, thank you for sticking around. We're going to have an interview with Smooya shortly, so make sure you stick around for that. I know there's quite a few Smooya fans in the chat still, so do not go anywhere. That one is coming up shortly, but I mean, Pilski, as you said, there's still plenty more Counter-Strike to come up. This is all some of the best in terms of teams, certainly at the top end of that ESL World ranking. So for having these guys here, this is a depth of quality that maybe some of us are not used to seeing. Certainly at the pointy end of the year too, coming off the back of the major, we've had some online competition. Some teams have had to revert to online, but LAN is where it's at.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm hoping that trend continues going forward. We get some more and more of these LAN competitions and get to see some of the best teams in the world play, even if it is studio environment, crowd events also definitely fill me with a little bit of joy. I'm just keeping an eye on that Heroic FaZe game, man. Heroic are definitely pulling things back. FaZe have got one more buy left in them to close out the game. It's a full AK buy, so they could definitely still make it work, but there's very real chance that OT and that series keeps on delivering.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, we sent Parla to go get the inside word with Smooya. We're going to be crossing to them for an interview.
What's cooking? Good looking.
Owen, fresh gold chain, fresh white Air Forces,
Yeah,
mate,
okay.
and a W on the server. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. A little bit under the weather, but thankfully that all got sorted out before anyone makes any assumptions. That's why my throat's a little bit raspy right now, but yeah, it was good day of games and looking forward to tomorrow.
Owen, how is it for you and the team to be on LAN after smashing it online?
It's honestly, it's weird because like when we lost yesterday, I didn't feel like we played bad. We just played against a really good team. And respect to the people who've been playing online, like most of them haven't been tier 1, like they're not Gambit's level. I mean, it's not even disrespect to say that Gambit are one of the best teams in the world. So it's fun, and I'm just excited to play some more games, get some more experience, and hopefully come back to some more great events like this.
I spoke to Crims about it yesterday, but from your perspective, how do you think the roster is progressing?
I think it's going really good because at the beginning we were winning and we didn't know why, but now we know why we're winning. Like we're actually starting to like each other and stuff like that. Because at first, like the whole honeymoon phase, if someone does something that like might annoy you, you'll ignore it, because we've just met each other, we're trying to get along, and then it starts to like your gears start to grind after like 2 months. But we're actually starting to like each other. And
There's starting to be some proper UK-Swedish synergy, mate.
Oh yeah, it's proper. It's proper. That's all I can say. It's proper. Yeah. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good.
Good stuff. Final question. Owen, for you, what's it like to be on Fnatic? I'm sure you were extremely excited when the contract was signed. Just talk to me about that.
I mean, like, I don't want to give the long answer, but like, or the sloppy answer, something like that. But when I signed, I started crying. Yeah, man, it was good. Good times. Good times.
Good stuff.
I'm excited to hopefully prove a lot of people right, some people wrong. I mean, more people right than wrong. Yeah, man, just play some Counter-Strike, live my life, and try not to make too many mistakes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the win, and thanks for the chat, mate.
You too, man. Thank you very much.
Some proper UK synergy. That's all that was needed in that Fnatic lineup. And I think it's safe to say that they're achieving their goals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to be realistic with the expectations, but yeah, it's clear that Fnatic's in a bit of a transition phase. Obviously, it's always good when you start winning, and if they can keep winning, then that's going to be fantastic. But the real, as you mentioned there, the real test comes when they do potentially start losing, when some things start going wrong, and then they kind of decide how to bounce back from that.
Now, we're going to have Astralis taking on Team Liquid in about 40 minutes' time, so do not go too far. That's plenty of time for you to grab your popcorn, grab your cordial, grab your snacks, whatever you want, and we'll see you here in 40 minutes for that blockbuster.
Choose nades, choose a smoke, choose a flashbang. Choose team badges to support your favourite CSGO team. Choose an ESEA premium membership. Choose routes you know bring in wins. Choose pro video tips. Choose the fan club wars. Choose behind the scenes content. Choose good grades. Choose guns you know you can shoot right. Choose bingo. Choose the equipment you know is going to get your team the win thanks to heat maps. Choose the CSGO Hub Premium, the complete package to help you and your squad achieve all your CSGO goals.